in the hole and a base hit. Avicini scores. North Carolina wins. The team that battled to the end ended up winning it. 4 hours and 53 minutes to play the 13 innings.
We're sitting in the driver's seat and we're ready to go.
We believe in each other. We stand shoulder to shoulder. And we know that that guy's going to get it done.
We're going to have to play, a great game to beat them. Hopefully, they'll be a little worn out.
Welcome back to the 2006 College World Series from Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. Our entire College World Series coverage is available in high definition, and today's game is available on ESPN2 HD. Justin Turner and the Cal State Fullerton Titans are loose on their team bus, but it is the North Carolina Tar Heels who are in the driver's seat in bracket 1. The Tar Heels beat the Titans on opening night, Friday night. This afternoon, the rematch. With a win today, the Tar Heels advance to the championship series as the winners of bracket 1. Meanwhile, the Titans are facing elimination for the third day in a row. They'll need to beat the Tar Heels on consecutive days if they are to play for the title this weekend. Clemson eliminated yesterday. Georgia Tech, the first team out. In bracket 2, Rice can advance to the championship series with a victory over Oregon State tonight. That ball game at 9 Eastern time on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Omaha. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Jeff Brantley. We'll be joined in just a moment by Holly Rowe. As we said, this is a familiar position for the Cal State Fullerton Titans. For the third day, looking at the possibility of elimination, and on the previous 2 occasions, they came very close to going home. On Sunday, they were down 5-4 in the 9th inning, 2 outs and the bases empty. They loaded the bases, then got a magical squib hit from Corey Vanderhook and went on to beat Georgia Tech 7-5, sending the Jackets home. Then yesterday against Clemson, the Titans trailed 6-3 in the 7th, rallied for 3 in the 7th, then got a fluke hit from David Cooper, his 5th hit of the ball game in the 8th inning. That was the game winner, 7-6 the final. And when you win, Jeff Brantley, as they do, you start to think you're a team of destiny. The big story for them today, Wes Romer. He started against the Tar Heels Friday night, came back and closed yesterday.
Well, Romer is collegiate baseball's pitcher of the year. He did get the save last night, but he only pitched 2/3 of an inning. He definitely wanted the ball today. He's going to start today. Wes Romer is the guy they call the gunslinger for the Cal State Fullerton Titans. We'll see how many bullets that he's got left in that arm today. On the opposite side, you've got Daniel Bard, a guy that was a first-round pick from the Boston Red Sox, another one besides Andrew Miller. He is a guy that they have to have come out and be strong early in the ball game. He's got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. The big key for this guy is being able to pitch early in the ball game. Against Alabama in his last start, he hit 3 out of 5 guys to start the ball game. That is not what they're expecting today.
North Carolina needs just one more win to get to the championship series. The Titans have to win twice in a row if they're going to play for the championship this weekend. First pitch from Omaha right after this.
NCAA Championship World Series is brought to you by Chevrolet, America's brand, Chevy, an American Revolution. NCAA Championships on ESPN. The College World Series is brought to you by Chevrolet, America's brand, Chevy, an American Revolution.
And welcome back to Omaha. Another bright sunny day. Warm, although not as warm as yesterday afternoon's game between the Titans and the Clemson Tigers when it was 94 degrees at the first pitch. Carolina and Cal State Fullerton. And a win for Mike Fox will send him to the championship series for the first time. He's in the College World Series for the first time in his 8 years. as head coach at North Carolina. They're 2-0 for the first time ever here. Coach Fox's lineup is brought to you by Sonic, the speedy Mike Cavassini, who has scored the game-winning run in each of their first 2 contests, leads off and plays center field. Reed Franck, the sophomore third baseman, bats second. Their leading hitter here at the College World Series, Josh Horton, the sophomore shortstop, will hit third. Then the power threat, Chad Flack, sophomore from Forest City, North Carolina, at first base. They're looking for more from Jay Cox. He has just 1 hit in 2 games. He's the left fielder, batting sixth. Then Tim Fedorovich, the freshman, DH today. He's also spent some time behind the plate. Seth Williams is the right fielder. He has 2 hits so far. Benji Johnson will catch. He ordinarily is the catcher for Daniel Bard. And Garrett Gore, the freshman second baseman, bats ninth. They'll take their swings against Wes Romer, and if he looks familiar, you saw him less than 24 hours ago if you were watching yesterday. The sophomore from Glendora, California, with the 13-1 record, the Big West Conference Pitcher of the Year. He won, as Jeff mentioned, a number of All-American awards, first team All-American. Yesterday was his first relief appearance of the season, with their closer Ryan Paul ailing with a stomach bug. Romer came in to get the last 2 outs, threw only 7 pitches, but it's highly unusual, obviously, to pitch in relief one day and come back and start the very next. Some pitchers throw the day before, but it is not very common, and the Cal State Fullerton coaches are as curious, if not more so than we are, to see how this works out. He's their best man, but will he be as good as he can be given the circumstances of recent days? 89 degrees at the first pitch, and it's a fastball at 89 miles per hour to Mike Cavassini, the freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina, near Charlotte. Born in Gainesville, Florida, moved at a young age to the Charlotte area. Fastest man on their team. Slaps it to second to Justin Turner. When you asked Mike Fox this morning what's the key to playing good offense against Fullerton, he said don't hit ground balls to their infield. Those guys don't miss anything.
That's the one thing I believe George Horton really prides himself in, is getting repetition not only from the physical side in his infield, but also from the mental side, so that his infielders know exactly what to do with the baseball when it's hit their way.
Romer induces a swing and a miss from Reed Franck. He homered off Romer on Friday night in the first inning to set the tone for that ball game. He expected a pitcher's duel between the 2 All-Americans, Romer and Andrew Miller, and both got knocked around early and then got better late. The game wound up going 13 innings, neither starter involved in the decision, and the Tar Heels won it with 2 in the 13th. Franck is 3 for 10. He has scored 3 times and driven in 2 in Carolina's 2 victories. They followed up the extra inning victory over Cal State Fullerton with a 2-0 win Sunday against Clemson behind a 3-hit shutout from Robert Woodard. That earned the Tar Heels a day off yesterday, while Cal State Fullerton had to fight for survival against Clemson, an elimination game for both teams. The Tar Heels wound up going in the direction of that ball out to the Dorley Zoo behind the right field stands. They spent a nice day at one of Omaha's most noted attractions.
Well, that slider there to Reed Franck in game 1 that went into extra innings when Fullerton lost. That slider stayed in the middle of the plate, and he got a big piece of it, hit it out of the ballpark.
That pitch was close. The catcher John Curtis wanted it. Tony Mainers is the home plate umpire. Randy Harvey working at first base, Joe Burleson at second, Perry Costello at third. Romer felt he got squeezed a few times early in the game Friday night, and you could sense his frustration. That one clearly low and away, and it's a full count on Franck. That's nothing new. There are the numbers for Romer from Friday. Not surprising that he did not issue a walk. He's given up 6 all year in 150 in the 3rd innings. That is a big surprise. A walk. He pitched the first 65 2/3 innings this year before he issued his first walk of the season.
Well, I think that tells you automatically early in this ball game that There are going to be a lot of changeups thrown, and I think from Romer's side, he's got to be pitch efficient early in this ball game in order to get deep. The last thing that he wants to do, or the Titans want him to do, is to be hit early and have to be taken out of this ball game.
Josh Horton, the batter. He's Carolina's leading hitter in the 2 ball games. 5 for 9. 3 runs batted in, also leads the Tar Heels. He had a big game in their win over the Titans on Friday night. 3 for 6, including the game-winning RBI in the 13th inning.
Really like to watch this guy swing the bat. He holds the bat way up high, and you would think that you could get inside on him, but his hands are so quick he can get to just about any ball and drive it to any part of the ballpark.
Sends it right back in our direction, and Horton's in an 0-2 hole. These Titan pitchers and their starting rotation of Romer, Lauren Gagne, and Dustin Miller, very highly regarded. They've all struggled in the first inning here in Omaha. Each has pitched once as the starter, and each was scored upon in the first inning. Romer gave up 2 in the first to the Tar Heels on Friday night. Miller gave up 3 to Georgia Tech as Romer strikes out Horton. And Gagne gave up 3 yesterday to Clemson. George Horton said, we'd like to avoid the first inning difficulties today.
Big time pitch right there from Wes Romer. Following a changeup, he goes back up in the strike zone, elevates the baseball up and away from the All-American Josh Horton, and gets him swinging.
That starting rotation arrived in Omaha 39-6, the only rotation in the country with 3 pitchers each with at least 12 wins. But they have an ERA of over 6. Jam job to second off the bat of Chad Flack, caught by Justin Turner, and that ends the inning. After a half inning, no score after a half inning here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha. The Cal State Fullerton Titans getting ready to come to bat. They're 50-14 for the year, coached by George Horton in his 10th season. They won the national title for George in 2004, the 4th in school history, the other 3 under Augie Garrido. His lineup is brought to you by Sonic, and it's a familiar lineup like North Carolina. They don't tinker with it very much. Justin Turner, the senior second baseman, the catalyst throughout the season and again here in the College World Series. Blake Davis hasn't had many hits here, but those he has had have been big ones. Same can be said for Brett Pill, the junior from Covina, California. Excellent defensive first baseman as well. Danny Dorn with a knack for coming through in the clutch, trying to avoid playing the last game of his career today. He's in left field. And yesterday's hero, the freshman David Cooper, now with 7 hits in the College World Series to lead all teams. He'll be followed in their lineup by Brandon Tripp, the junior in right field. Clark Hardman, part of a platoon in center field. The sophomore starts against right-handers. He's in there today. Evan MacArthur, the junior third baseman. He's had a couple of big hits in their 3 games thus far. And the catcher, John Curtis, the junior, will bat 9th. That's the lineup that will go up against Daniel Bard, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. As Jeff mentioned, the first pick of the Boston Red Sox in the draft earlier this month, the 28th selection overall. 8-1, but an ERA a little high for a guy of his ability, 3.59. Big and strong. He can run it up there in the high 90s, although the coaches feel he's better if the velocity is low to mid 90s, because when it gets higher than that, the ball tends to fly all over the place out of his delivery.
Well, they like for him to start the ball game right around 92, 93 and get his mechanics and his location down. Once he does that, very difficult to hit.
His first pitch, a ball to Justin Turner, the senior from Bellflower, California, their leading hitter for the season at 355 overall.
You see that pitch there, 97. It looks like he's just having a walk in the park as he lets go of the baseball, but this kid has some kind of live arm.
Turner 353 in the College World Series. And this was the concern for Bard And the Tar Heel coaching staff, he had the control trouble early in his last outing in the Super Regionals at Alabama. His arm tended to drop and the ball sailed all over the place. They want him to keep his arm up over his head and throw with an over-the-top delivery. Those are the numbers that had him make the early exit. They rallied to beat Alabama and advance to the College World Series. That's right down the middle.
That pitch is 98 miles an hour. Telling you, this kid right here, and you can talk to Andrew Miller, the other All-American picked in the first round. He'll tell you, if this kid is on, it's over.
It was thought that he would be a top 10 pick in the draft. As a matter of fact, when I spoke with Daniel last night, he said one team told him it was between him and one other player. Another team that picked right behind that team said, if they take the other guy, we're going to take you. And a team toward the back of the top 10 said, if you're there, we're taking you. Well, you know how the draft goes. A lot of times they don't always tell you the truth. Strong at bat by Turner. That's typical of Justin. Worked the count and then delivered a base hit. The lead man on. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Daniel Bard's been here in Omaha for a week and hasn't been on the mound until today. Those emotions are running high, and he said how he handles that excitement will be a big key for him today.
Take this game like I took any other one. I really don't feel it as a pressure because it's been there all year. I had a chance to win the Coastal Division, the game that clinched that, pitch that game, and then the one that clinched our regional for us. So, I feel like I've kind of done this before. I'm not on this biggest stage, obviously, and I think it's going to be a rush. It'll be fun.
Guys, in a workout Tuesday, the pitcher's got a rare chance for some batting practice. He hit a home run over the center field wall, so he is already amped up. He said it's a problem, though, because when he's excited, he's too high in the zone, and that's the biggest problem he has to face today.
All right, Holly, thank you. The last outing wasn't good, but as Holly said, he has pitched well in some of their biggest games of the season. You wonder why he dropped in the draft, and the consensus talking to some of the pro people and the Carolina coaching staff who showed the ERA, people wonder, with all of his ability, why aren't the results better and more consistent? And there's a question about mental toughness. Blake Davis out as he advances Turner into scoring position. The Titans, as usual, playing small ball.
And I don't know that Daniel is as much mentally weak as it is the fact that he thinks too much. I think that once he is around the game professionally a lot more, I think he'll learn a lot more from older players that have his kind of stuff. There's just very few players in the world that could throw the ball the way he does with this kind of just action.
Brett Pill chops it to short, and Josh Horton throws him out. Well, I think where that mental toughness thing came from was in the middle of the season. He had a couple of rough outings in a row. In particular, he got knocked around by the University of Maryland, and after the game he was quoted as saying, "I've totally lost my confidence. I really have no confidence right now." And Mike Fox said, "Hey, wait a minute. You throw in the high 90s, you got all kinds of ability in the world. How could you ever lose confidence? Maybe it's a little mechanical thing that needs tweaking." But it was almost as if he was despondent after just a couple of outings. And of course, the scouts are looking for every little thing they can grab onto to form an opinion one way or the other.
And I think with Daniel, the answer that he used there was maybe not the proper words that he should have used. And I don't know that that's exactly how he felt. But when you feel like you're out of sorts and you're not being able to do what you want to do on the mound and command the ball the way that you would like to, you hear so many times about people talking about, well, maybe his confidence isn't there. And I think that's where he pulled that from.
He's pitching to Danny Dorn. His first pitch, a strike. And a 94-mile-per-hour fastball inside to Dorn, the senior, member of their national championship team in 2004. Drafted last year in the 23rd round by Tampa Bay. They offered him a lot of money for a 23rd round pick, about $150,000 to sign. He turned that down, thought he'd be a higher draft pick this year, but a shoulder injury hurt his numbers. He missed about a month, and as a result he dropped down to the 32nd round. A lot of people think the Reds are getting themselves a pretty good looking prospect in the 32nd round.
I would say so with Danny Dorn, especially from what we've seen. This guy has one sweet swing.
Of course, with Bard, the other part of dropping in the draft, you don't know how much he was looking for to sign. He can always go back to college, and it's one of those great mysteries about how much contact these young men or their families, representatives have with the pro people. But generally the word trickles out, hey, if you draft me, it's going to cost you X, Y, or Z, and if the price is a little too stiff, that can cause you to drop.
Well, it's not only physical tools and mental toughness, it's also signability, and that comes with the dollars. He makes it through this one. That's a good sign for Carolina.
And the coaches thought the first inning was the key, and he gets through it unscathed. No score after one in Omaha. It is the greatest show on dirt, the College World Series at Rosenblatt Stadium here in Omaha, Nebraska. Second meeting of this College World Series between North Carolina and Cal State Fullerton in a much more tranquil start than the first meeting. Game 2 of this College World Series Friday night. Wes Romer and Andrew Miller, the aces on the mound, each taken deep early. Miller had given up only one homer all year. He gave up 2 in the first 3 innings. The game ultimately decided by the bullpens, and Carolina's was flawless. Matt Danford pickoff of Corey Vanderhook in the 11th inning, a big play. Looked like North Carolina might go down in that inning. Instead, the stage was set for Josh Horton, and he knocked in the game-winning run in the 13th. Romer made it through 8, but gave up 5 runs. And Horton, the hitting star, he drove in 2. In extra innings in that ball game, Cal State Fullerton went 0 for 8 with men in scoring position and left 9 men on base just in the extra innings. So the Tar Heels know they were fortunate to survive on an off night for Miller. Mike Fox said, when you win one like that, you can take on the feeling you're a team of destiny. He's trying to seize that. And of course, the Fullerton guys are saying, well, we're a team of destiny. Look at the way we've won the last 2 games.
Every coach is trying to instill the most positive motivation to create the best momentum for their players going into each and every ball game.
Jay Cox, the hitter. Coach Fox talked about Jay being a key. They'd like to get his bat going. He's 1 for 10. He had a line shot over the head of Jason Howell, the first base coach. Cox's one hit was against Wes Romer in the first inning Friday night. It was an RBI single. He was great in the regionals and super regionals. But has had a tough time here in Omaha, bothered by a back injury late in the year. He felt better with that coming here, and then yesterday he was a little under the weather. These teams are starting to get affected by a bug that's going around. When they made the team field trip to the zoo yesterday, Cox stayed behind in the hotel. That's well struck to center. Clark Hardman back to make the catch.
You know, you look at both of these coaches, and it's kind of different. It's 2 different schools of thought. Mike Cox was a little bit worried about not playing every day and only playing 2 games since they've been here. And George Horton, of course, was a little bit worried about wearing his pitchers out, having to come all the way back through the losers bracket and not having Vinny Pestano, their normal closer, in this ball game.
Base hit up the middle for Tim Fedorovich, the freshman DH. He splits the catching chores with Benji Johnson. That's his second hit of the College World Series. The other was an RBI single that gave them an insurance run in the 13th inning against the Titans Friday night. Romer stuck out the glove with the backhand but couldn't get it. So that's the first hit for the Tar Heels. Fedorovich aboard with 1 out. And the batter, Seth Williams, the right fielder, sophomore from Hendersonville, North Carolina, 1 single in each of their first 2 games here. And that was the big debate with the two coaches this morning. We asked them, would you rather have the rest as Mike Fox's team has had? Would you rather have the momentum of those dramatic wins, including one just yesterday for Cal State Fullerton? That's slammed into center field. A base hit for Williams. Played cleanly by Hardman. That'll stop Fedorovich at second base.
I think from a hitting perspective, you'd love for your hitters to be on the field in a competitive environment every day. But from the pitching side, as we see another hanging breaking ball from Wes Romer hit right back up the middle. This ball stays on the plate just a little bit too long. He wants that ball down in the strike zone, and it stays over the plate. And that's the one pitch that got him in trouble in game one. But these days off, Sean, have got to help these Carolina pitchers, especially this time in the season. You don't want a week off, but a couple of days sure does feel nice.
It's a great position to be in. You're already 2-0. You haven't even used a first-round draft pick. Daniel Bard, you have him to start today, and if you lose and get into a must-win situation tomorrow, you have Andrew Miller ready to come back, the 6th pick in the entire draft. Benji Johnson took a strike. They weren't sure they were going to start him last Friday night against Wes Romer. Scouting report was to load up on left-handed hitters against Romer, but Johnson has either caught or DH just about the entire year. They didn't want to change just because they were in Omaha. Start overthinking. Johnson got the start and hit a home run off Romer in his first at bat, a 2-run homer in the second inning.
You can see Romer really trying to work the outside part of the plate on Benji Johnson, trying to get a ground ball to these infielders that Mike Fox described as pretty much impeccable.
Out of play to the right. 1-2 on Benji Johnson. He's a sophomore from Pittsboro, North Carolina. Not much difference when he catches or Fedorovich. Fedorovich has the slightly better throwing arm, according to the coaches, but the coaches praised both young men for their baseball savvy and intelligence. Both do a great job working with the pitchers. First and second, one out in this NCAA tournament. 50% of the time in this situation, the teams have scored. But not by swinging at pitches like that. Breaking ball in the dirt for strike 3. Johnson strikes out for the second out of the inning and the second strikeout of the ball game for Wes Romer.
Now that's the slider that you want from Wes Romer. You see him turn his game up with runners at first and second. He realizes he can't let runners on the base pass. He gets his elbow up high before release. You can see that arm up, and he drives it down and away from Benji Johnson. The ball bounces in front of home plate after establishing that fastball away. Johnson swings right over the top of it.
Chopper up the middle from Garrett Gore. Turner flips to Davis. The Tar Heels strand 2. They've left 3 in 2 innings. After an inning and a half, no score. One of the great attractions in Omaha, the Henry Doorly Zoo, the Tar Heels had a visit. We spoke with them this morning. They were raving about the day they spent over there yesterday.
So they didn't even get to see the whole thing, and they were there for quite a few hours.
Yeah. Well, time to go to the zoo for 4 teams who have been eliminated, but more than likely they've just about all gone home. We started this tournament with 4 ACC teams. Only one left. The Tar Heels carrying the banner now for the Atlantic Coast Conference, trying to win their first ever national title. As usual in recent years, since they legislated the bat down to try to reduce the offense, the games have been close. Only one team in the last 25 years has won the championship after losing the first game. That's the daunting history facing Cal State Fullerton. They did it back in 1979 when they won the first of their 4 national titles. Here's David Cooper, the freshman, with more hits than anybody in this College World Series, and he didn't even start the first game. He came off the bench mid-game as a pinch hitter and singled on the first pitch he saw at the College World Series. The first of his 7 hits. He's had a hit in each of his last 6 at-bats, and that will be 7. Good effort by Garrett Gore. That's 7 straight hits now for David Cooper. The record at the College World Series is 8 by a couple of pretty fair hitters, Dave Magadan and Barry Bonds.
Watch him pull his hands in as he swings through that ball. That just shows you the quality hitter that David Cooper is. That ball got in on his hands, and he was still able to pull his hands in, almost pulling the end of the bat towards his belt buckle in order to get the good part of the bat on the baseball.
There's Brandon Tripp, the right fielder. He takes the ball up and away. Second straight inning with a leadoff single for the Titans. They stranded a runner in the first. Tripp, a junior, 12th round choice of the Baltimore Orioles in the draft earlier this month. As I mentioned, only 2 men, Dave Magadan and Barry Bonds, have ever had 8 consecutive hits at the College World Series. Next on that list, tied now with David Cooper, is Terry Francona. He had 7 straight hits for Arizona in 1980. Of course, now the manager of the Boston Red Sox. So Cooper is in some notable company.
Well, with that kind of swing, he's going to be hitting a lot of baseballs. That's exactly how you're taught to swing on an overpowering pitcher. Look for the ball out over the plate, and if the ball's in, try to get your hands inside the ball, and he did exactly that right there.
Tripp dropped down a bunt. Looked like they had a play at second, but Bard went to first to Flack. So for the second straight inning, the Titans, as is their way, play small ball. After the leadoff single, they sacrifice.
I think part of the reason that Bard did not go to second on that play, all of they're trying to do from the North Carolina side is stay away from any type of big inning at all. And I think they feel like Daniel Bard has the ability to get the strikeout when he needs to. If they're going to get it out and Fullerton's going to give it to him, they're going to take it at first base.
Strike 1 to Clark Hardman, sophomore center fielder. We mentioned playing despite the tremendous distraction of his dad's recent diagnosis with leukemia. Randy Hardman back in California getting treatment. George Horton telling us this morning that Clark and his dad have been chatting every day, and the reports are favorable so far, but obviously there's an awful lot on this young man's mind. And he's just 1 for 15 in the NCAA tournament. 1 for 7 here. In the dirt and dug out by Johnson. Bard said he was disappointed as he dropped down through the first round after thinking he might be a top 10 pick. He said as he kept dropping, as they were monitoring the draft, his mother got so nervous she had a soft drink in her hand and she was shaking like a leaf.
Shake the ice out of the glass.
Yeah, Daniel said she was very upset. There's a base hit in a right field. The runner had to hold to see if the second baseman Gore would catch it. So Cooper goes to third. Hardman has a hit, and the Titans at first and third.
This is a breaking ball from Daniel Bard. He leaves it up in the strike zone. Instead of the ball running in on the hands of Clark Hardman, it stops out over the plate. The ball didn't have the normal downward tilt that you see from the good breaking ball from Daniel Bard, and Hardman does a good job of driving it into right field.
Bard said as the draft went on, though, his mother's mood brightened considerably. His mom, Kathy, is from Massachusetts and is a lifelong Red Sox fan. And when the Red Sox drafted Daniel, she went from being a nervous wreck and very upset to it's a dream come true.
Exactly.
So everything has a happy ending, at least as it pertained to the draft this time around for Daniel Bard. Sliced out of play to the right. off the bat of Evan MacArthur. He homered Friday night against the Tar Heels off Andrew Miller. He's had some big hits in this College World Series. He had the game-tying RBI single yesterday in the 7th inning when they scored 3 times to get the game tied at 6-6. First 2 runs in that 7th inning were on the home run by Cooper. Well, I know you're curious, Jeff. What does Tourney Track tell us about 1st and 3rd and 1 out in this NCAA tournament? You got to like your chances of scoring 73% of the time. Safety squeeze on apparently, and MacArthur almost took that one off his body, and that was up around his head. Managed to get a bat on it and bunt it foul. 0-2.
You turn to squeeze or bunt with a fastball coming in the mid to upper 90s. Good luck, especially with that aluminum bat.
Well, we saw that with Justin Turner here in the College World Series in 2003 in a game against Stanford. Turned to bunt, got hit in the mouth with a pitch. MacArthur with 2 strikes now, fights off the fastball. He's grounded into 6 double plays this year. That's the most on the Titans team, and that's what the Tar Heels are hoping for. Tar Heels pitchers now have combined for 20 and 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings. They haven't given up a run since the 3rd inning of the game against Fullerton Friday night. That streak is over on the base hit by MacArthur. His 5th hit of the College World Series. He's had the knack for the timely hit. And Cal State Fullerton leads 1-0. 3 singles in the inning against Daniel Bard.
Another breaking ball up in the strike zone from Daniel Bard. MacArthur just stays right with it. You can really see Daniel Bard when he throws the breaking ball right now, dropping that right elbow. And all that does is just cast that breaking ball out, and you don't get a whole lot of finger pressure on the ball to create that downward spin.
Hardman stopped at second, so it's 1st and 2nd and 1 out. And a 98-mile-per-hour fastball missed high, but that's what we're talking about. When the velocity goes up, the pitch tends to ride up out of the strike zone. John Curtis trying to deliver another big hit. 2-0. Curtis, a draft choice of the Angels. They are neighbors of the Titans in Orange County, California. That might be another aluminum bat hit. It is in left center field, charged by Cavassini. His throw to the plate is off the mark. Hardman scores, and it's 2-0 Cal State Fullerton.
Another pitch up in the strike zone from Daniel Bard, right on the hands of John Curtis. Just does a good job of getting the bat to the ball, and he hits it in no man's land. Josh Horton couldn't get back to the ball. Mike Cavassini, the freshman center fielder, couldn't get to it either.
Mike Fox has sent his pitching coach Scott Forbes to the mound. He's their 1st-year pitching coach, was on the staff for a while, left and coached at other schools, and then came back. And Daniel Bard gives Scott Forbes a lot of credit for the good season that he's had. He said, Coach Forbes not only has helped me with the pitching, but he's very enthusiastic. He's been a great addition to our program. This is a young man, Scott Forbes, who works very hard. Saturday night, his young daughter, who's just under 2 years old, was not feeling well. Bad cough. He and his wife Mandy got concerned. They took their baby to the hospital, spent about 3 hours in the emergency room. Bad case of the croup, but his Scott Forbes is known for his preparation. He brought a DVD player and watched some video of some of these opponents, taking advantage of the long time in the emergency room, and obviously he was under a lot of stress. Justin Turner, the hitter, and he takes a strike. He singled in the 1st inning and was stranded.
And sometimes on the DVD or the tapes that you're watching of your opponents, you get the best angles from the cameras. to see exactly how you want to approach a certain hitter or how you want to approach a certain pitcher from the offensive side.
Oh, 0-2 now on Turner.
You can see Daniel Bard slowing down his mechanics just a little bit, allowing his arm to catch up. You start jumping and you start getting towards home plate a little too quick with your body. Your arm gets behind, the elbow drops, and the ball starts to sail.
We mentioned Kathy Bard earlier. She's from a baseball family. Her dad, Daniel's grandfather, Fran O'Brien, a longtime college baseball coach at MIT, Tufts, and Holy Cross. That one is boxed, and it's a foul ball, says Tony Maters. Foul ball. Tony is an excellent umpire. Spent some time working minor league baseball. I first met Tony back in the early 80s when he was working in the International League in AAA baseball. Also a college football official.
Well, I think throughout the Super Regionals, at least the ones that I did, and then coming here to the College World Series, the umpiring has been just tremendous.
A hanger, and Turner popped it up. MacArthur goes to second, a tag up. He won't try to run. Cavassini gets it back in. So that's the second out of the inning. You mentioned the baseball family. Not only baseball on his mother's side, but Daniel Bard's dad, Paul, played at Tufts, was a catcher, got drafted in the 6th round by the Dodgers, and spent 5 years in their minor leagues. Daniel said after 5 years never getting higher than Double-A, his dad realized the dream wasn't probably going to become a reality, and he gave up his baseball career. But obviously his dad knows a lot about baseball, and he's been a great influence, as has his grandfather, whom Bard called a baseball genius. Nice to have that for a resource in your family. Blake Davis dropped down a sacrifice bunt his first time up.
Two different mechanical pitches there from Daniel Bard. The first one gets his arm away from his head and cuts the ball inside. That pitch there, he stayed back and drove it to home plate and got the ball right on the inside corner.
Down to first. Flack stays with it, and that ends the inning. But Cal State Fullerton is first on the board. They get 2 runs on 4 hits. They're 36-5 this year when they score first. We're back in Omaha. Cal State Fullerton leads 2-0. We had a chance to eavesdrop as they prepared for today's game.
Baron, Scott, Brad, Brad. Get up to the camera. Say what? We're gonna have a new champion. Baby, yeah!
Make sure that you still get that chill when you walk in there and you're looking forward to the opportunity. When you get off this bus and you walk into Rosenblatt Stadium, it isn't just another game.
It's never another game for George Horton here. As usual, many reminders, motivational expressions posted in their dugout. George Horton's been here a number of times. When we spoke with him before the opener last Friday night, he said, I know when I get off that bus, my heart is going to be pounding through my chest. If things go poorly, they flush it, get rid of it.
You wonder how many of those signs actually work for the Cal State Fullerton Titans, but each sign may mean something different to each different player.
Wes Romer pitching with the lead and facing the top of the order. Mike Cavassini grounded out to open the ball game. Then Reed Franck and Josh Horton. Carolina's had base runners. They've stranded 3 men in the first 2 innings. Down the first base line and foul. 1-2.
You know, the one sign that I love that's in their dugout, believe it. And if you don't believe that you're going to win, guess what? You're not going to win.
And clearly they do believe. And why wouldn't you, the way they've come back the last couple of days? Romer missed an easy comebacker. And you know that's going to frustrate him. And as we mentioned Friday night, a big key for Wes is his emotional level, how he deals with situations. There's a fine line, he said, between feeding off his emotion and being confident. He is a gunslinger, as the coaches say, but sometimes his emotions can run away from him. And it looked Friday night as though he was making a conscious effort to stay composed, and the coaches felt like perhaps that was a negative. George Horton says you have to be true to yourself.
Well, he wants every one of his players to be who they are when they take the field. If you're tough and angry, he wants you to be tough and angry out there.
Bounced up the middle and a base hit for Reed Frank. After the error by Romer, Frank delivers and Cavassini is into third safely. Well, Reed Frank has been on base twice already today with a walk and a single. And at the College World Series, generally when you make an error, these teams are so good they'll make you pay for it.
Watch Cavassini as he comes around second base. This kid is flying. This is a single up the middle, and you can see the center fielder charging after the ball. Cavassini never even thinks about stopping at second base. Big hustle for the young freshman.
He can pick them up and lay them down at 5'7". Coach Fox says he's as fast as anybody he's ever coached in his 8 years at Carolina, or 15 years at Division III North Carolina Wesleyan, where he coached a perennial powerhouse program before coming back to his alma mater as head coach.
This is a big inning for North Carolina, especially after Cal State Fullerton puts 2 on the board. You want to answer in a hurry if you're from North Carolina.
Josh Horton took a ball down and in. He struck out in the first. One of 2 strikeouts for Romer to this point.
And if you're North Carolina and Mike Cox, this is the guy that you want at the plate with runners in scoring position. You saw the numbers early on this guy. He can flat out hit.
Down the left field line, a base hit, and Carolina is on the board. Cavassini scores. Horton remains red hot. Now 6 for 11 in the College World Series, and his team leading 4th run batted in here in Omaha.
The thing about the All-American Josh Horton is regardless if the pitch is inside or away, he's got the talent to be able to pull his hands in and jerk the ball down the right field line, or as we saw right there, take that pitch that's running off the plate away, not even close to being a strike, but a ball that he knew he could handle and drive it down the left field line to get that run in from third base.
North Carolina, the key to their success here in the NCAA tournament, runners with scoring position. They're the best in the field, as you might expect, at nearly 500. Wild swing by Chad Flack. 1 strike on Flack. He lined a second in the first inning to end the inning. Romer's error has opened the door for potentially a big inning for North Carolina. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. Coach Fox has his cleanup hitter bunting, and Flack looked at strike 2.
In this situation with no outs, it's kind of the game that you want to play if you're Coach Fox. You want to get your runners in scoring position. That way anything that happens, you've got an opportunity to at least get 1 run, maybe 2 with a base hit.
Jay Cox is on deck. Fouled away by Flack. That's a pretty productive group. They came to Omaha, all 3 of them in the top 4 in the ACC in hitting. Horton is leading the conference at .409. Here in Omaha, they haven't been quite as productive. Of course, they're facing some of the best pitchers in the country. The 0-2 is low and inside.
That was a nice sinker from Wes Romer right there, trying to get the ball in on Flack, get him to ground the ball to the infield, possibly get a double play there.
Flack, of course, the hero of the Super Regionals. He hit 2 homers in their clinching victory at Alabama. He had a go-ahead home run in the 8th after they squandered that lead in the top of the 9th. He homered in the bottom of the 9th. A walk-off home run to send them to Omaha for the first time ever. Excuse me, the first time since 1989. First time ever for this group.
What was so impressive about that, Sean, is the home run in the 8th inning was over the scoreboard in left field. The home run in the 9th was out of the ballpark in right field.
Little squibber on the right side, played nicely by Pill, and Davis hangs on to it. Romer went over to cover, but they had no chance to get Flack. So he's aboard on a fielder's choice. Horton erased. And now Reed Franck is the tying run at third with 1 out. As Flack said, it was an unbelievable feeling to hit the 2 home runs, particularly the second one. He was convinced the first one was going to be the game-winning home run because Andrew Kerrigan is their closer, and he just needed to go out there and get 3 outs, and he'd been terrific all year. The 8th inning home run put them up 5-4. And as Jeff said, that went to left. Then they had lost the lead. He came up in the 9th. Said when he hit it, the only question was it high enough? And it just barely was. Over the right field wall. He said, I don't remember anything about rounding the bases except coming around third and seeing my teammates standing at home plate waiting to mob me.
Oh, the joys of college baseball.
The ultimate thrill for a lifelong Tar Heel. Both parents graduated from North Carolina. His grandparents on his dad's side, his great grandfather on his dad's side, his sister Ashley, 25 years old, a graduate of the pharmacy program. His mom Angela, also a pharmacist, and they worked together in Forest City, North Carolina, at Spindell Drug Company. Her dad, Tripp, his dad, Tripp, owns his own insurance company. Chad said someday when his baseball career is over, he'll probably go work with Dad in the insurance business. Here it comes right back here. A little short of the booth. Jay Cox with the foul ball. Well, Mike Fox said he's a key. They need him to break out, and this would be the best time to do it with the tying and go-ahead runs on base here at the College World Series. North Carolina and Cal State Fullerton. If North Carolina wins, they're on to the championship series as the winners of bracket 1. If Cal State Fullerton wins, these 2 teams will go at it tomorrow, and the winner will advance to the weekend to play for the championship against the victor of bracket 2. In the air in left center, pretty well hit. Danny Dorn watching it go. Home run. Well, Mike Fox said he thought Jay Cox was the key today. They need him to break out, and he has done so in a huge way. An opposite field 3-run homer. And North Carolina leads for the first time today. It's 4-2.
Guarantee you this is not where Wes Romer wanted this changeup. This ball is up and out over the plate. Jay Cox stays right with it. You can see his head stay down. Just an extra split second allows him to make solid contact with the ball. That thing ends about 6 rows up over the left field fence. Big answer right here from North Carolina after the 2 runs from Cal State Fullerton in the top of the inning.
Coach Fox said, you know, Cox is really hitting the ball as he wants to when he goes to left field and left center. Most of his power is that way. 5th home run of the tournament, first here, 14th overall. That ties him with Benji Johnson for the team lead. Fedorovich hits one off the leg of Romer. It caroms to Turner for the out. 1-4-3, second out of the inning. And Romer with just a very small limp as he hands the ball to Tony Manners.
Well, that was a good bounce for Romer and the Fullerton Titans there. Looked like the ball hit off the back of his heel and ricocheted to the second baseman, Justin Turner.
George Horton started out of the dugout. Wes Romer's okay. You know, he still has to be kicking himself for that error on the comebacker that got this inning going for the Tar Heels.
Right off the bottom of the foot.
Chris Mumma, the trainer for Cal State Fullerton. 7 home runs allowed all year, 3 of them by North Carolina. Friday night he gave up 2 in an outing for the first time all season long. Slammed down the line. Fair ball into the left field corner off the bat of Seth Williams, who's heading for second, as Danny Dorn plays it back in. Williams is 2 for 2. The error got it started, but the Tar Heels have had 4 hits since.
This is a sinker supposed to be inside. The ball does not run inside. It stays over the middle of the plate, and it allows Seth Williams to jerk it down the left field line.
Romer is limping more noticeably now as he walks around the mound, and George Horton wants to go out himself now, make sure that Romer's okay, and also give him a little pep talk. And you know, the error started it, but they have hit some balls well since then. And with this uprising, it brings back the question, not as effective as he usually is, might it be related to the fact that he pitched yesterday under the ultimate pressure?
Well, I think that George Horton will tell you, and so will Wes Romer will tell you, that yesterday didn't bother him at all. But after the many years that I've stayed on that pitcher's mound and pitched in the bullpen and other things, I can assure you that throwing in the ball game yesterday did tax him some. May not have been a lot, Sean, but it still taxed him some. And you've got the thing about this whole issue is Romer's got to be thinking about it. Am I really sharp? Do I really have my best stuff? Should I throw this pitch here? That slider's not breaking like I wanted to. Change up in the strike zone. This is not what Wes Romer is used to. He's not used to getting hit around like this.
With the exception of yesterday's brief appearance, this College World Series experience hasn't been what he expected it to be. He's pitched 11 1/3 innings now total in 2 starts and 1 relief appearance, and has given up 9 runs, 8 of them earned. And perhaps another run, a base hit by Benji Johnson. The runner, Seth Williams, held at third. The ball hit sharply. Hardman has an excellent arm. Williams would have been out by a mile. Johnson hit it too hard to score the run, but he's 1 for 2. And that'll bring the 9th batter of the inning up to the plate for North Carolina.
Well, you're right about Hardman. Not only does he have a great arm, but he gets a great jump on the ball to center field. We've seen time and time again in this inning especially where he's gotten to the ball in a hurry.
George Horton told us this morning that when he was recruiting Clark Hardman, he knew him as a young boy because one of Clark Hardman's best friends growing up was the son of one of George Horton's best friends. He said, when I was recruiting him as a junior in high school, I was over at my buddy's house. Clark Hardman happened to be over there. The batter is Garrett Gore. He's looking to squeeze a run in, trying to beat it out for a hit, and cannot, and that ends the inning. We'll tell you the rest of the Hardman-Horton story when we come back. The inning is over. A tough inning for Romer. His error opened the inning, and the Tar Heels capitalized in a big way to lead 4-2. Cal State Fullerton getting ready to come up in the third, trailing now 4-2. They led 2-0, but the Tar Heels just got 4 off Wes Romer in the top of the third inning. We were mentioning at the end of the last inning The story involving George Horton and his recruitment of Clark Hardman. They were together at George Horton's friend's house. Clark Hardman there visiting his friend. That family had a ping pong table, and Clark Hardman was talking a big game, telling George Horton that he could beat him in ping pong, challenged him to a game, and George Horton said, "Okay, I'll tell you what. If I skunk you, if I beat you without you winning a point,
that's 11-0.
You're going to commit to Cal State Fullerton, and you're going to call the papers and tell them you're committing to Cal State Fullerton, and it'll be a done deal." And Hardman said, "Coach, you're on." Sure enough, George Horton, the clutch ping pong player that he is, did not lose a point, and Clark Hardman, being a man of his word, a young man of his word, committed.
I don't think Clark Hardman has had a second thought about that yet.
Brett Pill leads off against Daniel Bard. A deep drive to center. Cavassini on the run, and he can't get it. And Brett Pill has a leadoff double. His 6th hit of the College World Series. He's now 6 for 18.
Fastball up, middle away. And Brett Pill just pow drives this ball. And you've got to know, if you're Cal State Fullerton, that Daniel Bard is having difficulty with his breaking ball. The best thing for you to do when you come to the plate is sit dead red, look on one side of the plate, and take a hack.
Ball 1 to Danny Dorn, who struck out swinging to end the first. This position is nothing new for Cal State Fullerton. It has trailed in all 4 games here at the College World Series. They came back to take the lead in the previous 3. Of course, then North Carolina rallied back to win the opener Friday night in 13 innings. Two and 0 to Dorn. Titans have had the lead man on in every inning. Strike on the outside corner.
And if you've got a team that's standing at home plate that's not very selective, Daniel Bard will eat them alive, because if they're swinging a lot, he's just enough effectively wild where he's going to strike out a lot of batters if you have an over aggressive lineup. But this Cal State Fullerton lineup has a lot of guys with a lot of experience, and they are being very patient, making Bard throw a lot of pitches.
Bard, a junior out of Charlotte Christian School, also attended Providence High School in the Charlotte area. Throw down to second. Pill gets back after Dorn tried to bunt. You surprised? You have your cleanup hitter bunting. Maybe it was just he was taking a pitch all the way with the count 3-0.
I believe he was taking that from the time that Bard stood on the mound. I don't think he's taken right here, though.
No. One of your few power hitters at the plate, a chance to tie it with one swing. That's ball 4 low. The first walk given up by Daniel Bard. Now David Cooper has had 7 straight hits. He had 5 hits yesterday, including the 2-run homer that got them back within 1 run. He drove in the winning run in the 8th inning. That was a ball that looked like it could have been caught, but was not. Cooper, in his interview with Holly Rowe after the game, was quite candid. He said a couple of them were aluminum bat hits, and they were, but they all count. That was the ultimate aluminum bat hit off the end of the bat that knocked in the game-winning run in the 8th inning. They rallied to beat Clemson. And as hot as he is, they have him bunting. That's the Titan way. 3 sacrifices after 7 consecutive hits. Had a hit in his last at bat against Georgia Tech Sunday, then 5 for 5 yesterday. And the hit today to help put his name high in the record book, right on the heels of Bonds and Magadan.
That was an absolutely perfect sacrifice bunt. Bunt the ball hard at the third baseman, Reed Frunk, make him vacate third base, pick up the baseball. The runner easily moves up from second and the runner moves from first to second. Now they've got a chance with a base hit to tie this ball game up.
And Brandon Tripp, the batter he sacrificed last inning. In each of the 3 innings, the Titans have laid down a sacrifice bunt. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Matt Danford, who pitched very well in relief in the first game against the Titans, warming up in their bullpen. Matter of fact, he was on the mound in that wild 11th inning, and his pickoff of Corey Vanderhook from third base was the biggest play of the ball game. In that 11th inning, the Titans put 5 men on base without a hit and did not score. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
And that is exactly what I was talking about a while ago. You've got to be patient with Daniel Bard on the mound. If you go up there trying to do too much, you're going to swing at pitches like this. Even if you make contact with that ball, you're going to hit it straight up in the air in the infield.
0-2 on Tripp. Talented high school football player at scholarship offers from big time programs like UCLA to play wide receiver, but figured his future was brighter as a baseball player. His size and relative lack of speed at the wide receiver position. Clark Hardman on deck. Bard was one of the best pitchers in the country as a freshman. The freshman pitcher of the year in the ACC. He was first team all conference, freshman All-American by Collegiate Baseball, second team by Baseball America. Fly ball to left that should be deep enough to score. Pill from third. Hawks the catch. He throws toward third to keep Dorn at second, and it's a 1-run game. 4-3. Brandon Tripp with a sacrifice fly and a run batted in.
I think this is exactly why George Horton bunted with probably his hottest hitter in David Cooper, just to continue to scratch out runs. That's the way Cal State Fullerton plays it, not playing for the big inning, but playing to continuously put the pressure on the defense of North Carolina.
Hit in the hole on the left side off the bat of Hardman, and a nice play by Josh Horton and a dig by Chad Flack to end the inning. Horton's defense was shaky for a while at midseason, but lately he's been terrific, and that's been another key to their success, according to Coach Fox. 4-3 Carolina after 3 here in Omaha. Omaha steaks, some of the best steaks in the world. I think I've had, we've been here a week, I think I've had 7 so far. And we've mixed in a lot of good baseball in between the steaks. 4-3 North Carolina has the lead. Wes Romer still trying to find his best form in this, his 3rd appearance in the College World Series.
Well, he's really having a difficult time finding the slider. On Friday on the left side of your screen, see him drop that elbow, leave a flat slider in the plate, supposed to go down and in. The ball stays flat. Reed Frank hits this ball a mile. And on the right side, he had a couple tonight that have done very well, but not consistently. You see this ball break down and away, and he's got to throw more pitches like this to get these North Carolina hitters off of his fastball. He tried to change up a little bit early. Now they've started to move towards that because they like the ball out over the plate. He's got to get that breaking ball down and on top of the plate in order to get his numbers better than what we see right there.
He came into the College World Series 13-1 with an ERA of under 2. Collegiate Baseball's co-national player of the year with Kellen Kolbacki of James Madison, the nation's leader in home runs. Mike Cavassini, the hitter, top of the order for Carolina. He led off last inning, hit that soft comebacker that Romer could not field for an error, and that opened the door for 4 runs for the Tar Heels, 3 of them earned. Out of play to the left. Reed Frank on deck, and then Josh Horton. Pitch gets away, and Cavassini will reach on the strikeout. So another unfortunate start to the inning for Romer. He struck out Cavassini, but the ball got past John Curtis. Third strikeout for Wes Romer, but again he'll have to contend with the speedy Cavassini on base to lead off the inning.
Well, that was a great slider down and under the hands of Cavassini, a slap hitter, but it looked like it tipped off of the web of John Curtis's catcher's mitt, just barely underneath the hands of Cavassini.
And ruled a pass ball against John Curtis, allowing Cavassini to reach. Team high 16 stolen bases for Cavassini. He hasn't swiped one yet here in Omaha. Strike right down the middle. Frank having another good day. He walked in the first, singled and scored last inning. Now scored 4 times in 3 games here in Omaha. They picked him off first. Wes Romer with a good move, and no argument from Cavassini.
We've seen this from Romer before. Quick feed allows him to get the ball out of his glove in a hurry. And you can see Cavassini caught leaning. You lean to the right with a guy with a quick move to first base, you're dead.
6th pickoff of the year for Wes Romer. Now Frank to left. Routine play for Dorn. 2 down in the 4th inning. 4-3 North Carolina. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, you're talking about how much Wes Romer has been pitching, and one thing he does pride himself on is his conditioning. In high school, he was an All-American cross-country runner. He said his best time for the 3-mile course was about 15 minutes 20 seconds. That's just over a 5-minute mile. On his off days to recover, he runs about 5 miles. He said they worked with the strength and conditioning coach after he pitched here earlier this week, and he said if anything, it's not his legs that will go, because he prides himself on being one of the best conditioned pitchers in college baseball.
And he is. Some of the other players told us when the pitchers do their running, he's so far ahead of the rest of them it's almost comical. Here's the long legs of a cross-country runner. We spoke with Wes the other day. He said, yeah, I have no torso, but I have long legs. Josh Horton, the hitter, and he's behind in the count 1-2. He had another big hit, a single that drove in a run in the 3rd inning. Struck out in the 1st. Backdoor breaking ball, grounded to second and booted by Turner. A rare miscue by the infield of Cal State Fullerton. Just the 6th error of the year for Justin Turner, who has started every game, all 65 games this year.
Nice breaking ball from Wes Romer. Got on top of that ball a little bit, got the ball down in the strike zone. Horton hit the ball hard, but that's usually a play that Justin Turner can make.
2nd error for the Titans. The error by Romer last inning really hurt. So now Horton, who can steal the bases, aboard, and Chad Flack is the hitter. He's 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored last inning. He takes strike one. Romer jammed Flack. MacArthur throws him out. So the error does not hurt. We go to the bottom of the fourth here in Omaha. Fullerton needs a win to stay alive. They're down 4-3. Carolina leads 4-3, a win, and they're on to the championship series. And they had high expectations and lofty goals when they arrived here in Omaha.
You know, we're sitting in the driver's seat. This is a position we want to be in. And coming out of Super Regionals, you know, we told ourselves, you know, we're not coming out here to sightsee. We're going to come out here and mean business. We want to go home as #1.
It's a good feeling, and we knew if we put all 3 aspects of the game together, your pitching, hitting, and defense, that it could be pretty good.
We've had confidence, you know, from the beginning. Obviously, everybody's not picking us to win it, but yeah, I think we kind of like the challenge, you know, go out and, you know, just play our game, you know, see what happens.
Well, what has happened for Mike Fox and company so far is 2 victories. The upper hand in bracket 1, and they're 1 win away from advancing to the best-of-3 championship series against the winner of bracket 2. Those games will be over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Fullerton with the 4 national titles, the last in 2004. 14 appearances in the College World Series in 32 years in Division I. While Carolina is making its 5th appearance, first since '89. Only once previously did they even win a game in Omaha. That was in '78 when they won 2 and finished 3rd, when Mike Fox was their all-College World Series second baseman. They've never won a game in Omaha without him, either as a player or the head coach. They're 52 and 13 this year. That's the school record for wins. Previous mark was 51 in 1990. They were #1 in the country during the regular season for the first time in school history. MacArthur pops up the bunt. Bard fielded it with ease. 1 out in the 4th. We mentioned that Daniel Bard is from a baseball family, and Holly Rowe is with the family.
Well, that's right. We've got the entire Bard family here, and let's start first off with Dad, Paul. It's been a big year for you, your son going in the first round of the draft. How have you managed that as parents, watching what your son's going through?
We just try to get out and support him all we can, see as many games we can, and just be there for him through thick and thin, and good times and bad.
What will change in his life now that he's getting through and wrapping up his college career?
Well, he'll probably be playing in a few different cities, and but we'll probably do the same thing. We'll try to support him and travel around the country and get to see him as he starts his pro career.
John
Curtis hit the comebacker. So a couple of the fielding plays by Daniel Bard. Holly?
Well, he also comes from a long line of baseball knowledge. His grandpa, Fran O'Brien, sitting over here. What do you think he's learned from Grandpa?
An awful lot. Every time his papa would come visit him on vacation, he'd always do some bullpens with him and show him the finer points of pitching, and always was there to lend not only a word of wisdom baseball-wise, but also encouragement.
Now, you've got another boy coming up. Jared has signed to go to UNC next year. What's it going to be like to have another boy there in that program?
Well, we know the way from Charlotte to Chapel Hill very, very well because we've traveled that road many times, and we're really excited that Jared can carry on the Tar Heel tradition.
Now, there's a younger brother, Luke. What's his future look like?
He'll be better than both of them.
Okay, you guys heard it first. So Jared and Luke on their way to Carolina Blue. Meanwhile, Daniel's getting it done on the mound today, guys.
Yes, he is. It's been a strong inning for him so far. Justin Turner pops a bunt foul, and it's 0-2. Jared Bard is a two-way player, pitcher and outfielder. He doesn't throw as hard as Daniel. He throws in the high 80s to around 90, and a good outfielder. And the coaching staff thinks he could be a two-way player, pitch, and then on the days he's not pitching, play in the outfield. Bard looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. Turner's 1 for 2, singled in the first, fly to center in the second. In the hole and under the glove of Reed Franck. Well, the defense is a weakness of this Carolina team, and that was a difficult play, but it's a play you'd like to see your third baseman make. It's the second hit for Turner, the 7th hit given up by Daniel Bard. The tying run on for the Titans. And there's a base hit. Blake Davis to the opposite field. He's 1 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. So Bard fielded flawlessly the first 2 chances of the inning, but then Franck couldn't help him. And now the Titans trying to capitalize.
This is where the big hit counts right here. 2 outs. Runner at second base. You got a couple of hits in a row. Got to take advantage of it when you can. And Brett Pill, the Fullerton Titans feel like he's the right man at the right time all the time.
The knack for the clutch hit. He took strike 1 from Bard. Pill double leading off last inning and scored on the sacrifice fly by Brandon Tripp that got them back within 1. Mentioned Bard was an All-American, the freshman pitcher of the year in 2004. Last year, kind of a lackluster year. Just 7-5, 4.22 ERA. Disappointing follow-up to his freshman year. He said he thought he pitched in a lot of bad luck. A lot of walks on 3-2 counts. There were some errors made behind him. There'd be a bloop hit here and there. The coaches also said Bard admitted after the freshman season and a good summer at the Cape after his freshman year, he came back and was complacent. Said he felt like he had accomplished just about all that he could accomplish. And as Coach Fox said in this game, when you think you've gotten to where you want to be, it'll humble you quickly. And he's out of this jam on the pop-up. Handled by Garrett Gore. The Bard family happy. We'll talk with George Horton when we come back.
Welcome back to Omaha, the College World Series. Carolina with a 1-run lead over Cal State Fullerton. We are here with Coach George Horton. And Coach, what would you say? We've talked about the fatigue level with Wes Romer and the concerns about him pitching yesterday. What do you think is happening with him so far today?
I just think he's trying to guide the ball. You know, he's trying to outsmart them and trick them, and he's kind of worried about what they're sitting on. And I just asked him to go out and be Wes Romer and get after it a little bit. And we're probably going to use the fastball a little bit more because it seems like they're having their best passes on their off-speed pitches.
Coming into today, you were the best defensive team in the tournament. A couple of uncharacteristic errors. What do you see happening with your defense right now?
Well, Wes got a little casual on that comebacker, and obviously that hurt us. And then the ball kind of took a tough hop on Red. We want the ball to hit the red every single time. I don't think we'll see him make another mistake like that.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Hon.
George Horton, master motivator of the Cal State Fullerton Titans. Hoping Wes Romer will be a little bit better as the game goes along. The Tar Heels have had runners in every inning against him. And while we have a moment, let's head up to our clubhouse. Here's Jeff Brantley.
Well, the one thing that you'll see with Wes Romer that we haven't seen from any other pitchers in this tournament so far is a lot of times you see him moving his glove along the side of his uniform. What he's doing is when the catcher puts down a sign, if he puts down 3 and you see him drag twice across the top of his jersey, what he's doing is he's going from 3 to fastball to curveball. He's adding, if it's only 1 wipe, he's going 3 to the fastball. Watch him over and over again. That's exactly what he's doing. Catcher puts down the signal, he'll add or subtract to that pitch with his glove.
Yes, he did.
Jay Cox tried to bunt his first pitch of the 5th and missed it for strike 1. Romer's been pitching since he was 8 years old. Says he admires Greg Maddux for his ability to change speeds, deceive the runners. A ball inside. Cox had a 3-run homer, the big hit in the ball game, to the opposite field in the 3rd inning. Carolina trailed 2-0 after 2, then put 4 on the board, 3 of them earned, and the big blow, the home run by Cox in the 3rd. Fullerton added another in the bottom of that inning. And here's a look at our sonic drive of the game. It was this drive into the bleachers and left by Cox, his 14th homer of the year. Fouled back onto the screen. 2-2. Cox, then Fedorovich and Williams.
Sean, that pitch right there was the same pitch that Cox hit out of the ballpark in left field. Change up and out over the plate. Just didn't quite get the bat to the ball in time as he did on the home run.
Cox sends it out of play to the left. Of course, throughout the years, a recurring theme at the College World Series has been the wear and tear on pitchers. A lot of college coaches accused of wearing these pitchers out, risking injury to them. George Horton still smarting from comments that Billy Beane, the Oakland A's general manager, made in 2004 when Oakland draft Jason Windsor saw considerable action here. George Horton told us this morning the most important thing to him today is the well-being of Wes Romer. If there's any sign that the after effects of yesterday are causing him a problem today, they're not going to risk an injury to this young man. He's thrown 62 pitches today.
I think any manager or any coach at any level has that responsibility, because you have a tenacious pitcher in Wes Romer on the mound, and that's really what you want as a coach or a manager. You want a guy that wants the baseball, but on the other side, you've also got to be the guy that guides that tenacious attitude to make sure that he doesn't hurt himself.
Cox in the air in left center. That's another bomb, and it is gone. Second home run of the ball game for Jay Cox. He's driven in 4, and the Tar Heels go back up by 2. It's 5-3.
This is a fastball down and away from Cox. The ball runs over the plate. Cox just puts the bat on the baseball, but you could see Romer dropped his elbow a little bit to try to get the ball to run away from Jay Cox there. Well, it ran away from him right into the bat head.
And now a tremendous blast down the left field line, and that ball is gone. Tim Fedorovich makes it back-to-back home runs on consecutive pitches, and North Carolina's up 6-3.
Tell you what, Romer is some kind of frustrated right now. He is not happy.
Well, coming into the College World Series, he did not have an outing all year long in which he gave up more than 1 home run. He gave up 2 to the Tar Heels on Friday night, and he's given up 3 here today. And that'll get John Estes up in the bullpen, the big lefty.
You can see this pitch, another hanging breaking ball, and Fedorovich does not let it go by. And as soon as that pitch was thrown, Wes Romer turns around to his catcher, John Curtis, and just raises his hands like, what's going on here?
And George Horton out to check on Romer. We mentioned George was upset by Billy Beane's comments in 2004, and I think for a number of good reasons. First of all, Billy Beane didn't call George Horton and express his concerns directly, which would be nice before you rip somebody publicly if you have a problem. And secondly, if you know George Horton, and we've been around him a lot here over the years, you see the way he interacts with the team, what an important figure he is in the lives of a lot of these young men. For anybody to make the accusation that he's selfish only concerned about his own situation and not looking out for the well-being of these young men. That is a really uninformed comment to make.
Well, I think that anytime that you make a comment like that, you've got to know who you're talking about. And there are a lot of former Cal State Fullerton Titans that actually play in the Oakland A's organization that have made it to the big leagues. And if there's anybody that's managing in this College World Series that cares more about his kids, it's George Horton.
And now a flare on the heels of the back-to-back home runs. Seth Williams has his third hit. He's 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. And you wonder now how much longer Romer will go. He's given up 10 hits. This has been a very disappointing College World Series for West, with the exception of his 7-pitch save yesterday.
Well, there's only so much tenacity and fight and attitude that you can put into one young man, and he has done it all year long for this ball club. Came in and pitched yesterday to save the ball game, to eliminate Clemson in a 1-run game, and it looks to me like he has run out of gas, not only physically but mentally.
The last back-to-back home runs in the College World Series, June 14, 2003, from Missouri State. Greg Mathis, a right fielder, and Jacob Hilgendorf, a pinch hitter, did it against Rice. In the 9th inning, they still lost the ball game 4-2. The Tar Heels have done it here. In the 5th inning, Jay Cox has his second multiple home run game of the NCAA tournament. He hit 2 in a game against Winthrop in the regionals. Coach Fox said this morning we need something from Jay Cox. That's a balk.
Right there. Right there.
That balk there is called on Romer because he spun on that right pivot foot. You've got to step towards first base. You can't spin on the right pivot foot. If you spin on it, it's a balk.
His third balk of the season. I think again it might be what you talked about yesterday, that front knee bends and then he turns and throws toward first base.
Knee buckles first. That's a balk too.
Cal State Fullerton needing a victory to keep the season alive. In trouble here in the middle innings. They trailed 6-3 yesterday, however, and rallied to beat Clemson. Wes Romer needs to get it together right now or he's going to be out of this ball game. The Tar Heels have roughed him up twice. There's Estes. Romer from Glendora, California, not highly recruited. We mentioned Friday night he was going to go to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, until Mike Lamb, the former Titan, now major leaguer's dad, who umpires in Southern California, let these coaches know they need to go back and check out Wes Romer again. They watched him pitch. He was excellent. He came to their program and has become a standout in his sophomore year. Williams retired at third base. Benji Johnson tried to bunt him along, didn't get the job done. So he's at first with 1 out on a fielder's choice.
Well, he got the ball to the left side of the infield, but you've got to get it closer to the line to make the third baseman charge to get that baseball. As long as the third baseman can see that the pitcher, Wes Romer, can handle it, he can stay back and cover third. That's exactly what happened right there. Great defensive play.
Garrett Gore, the hitter, the freshman second baseman, 0 for 2, tried to bunt his way on last time up. He was a surprise starter to many on Friday. Didn't see much action in the starting lineup during the course of the season. With his 3 starts here, he has still started only 16 games all year. But they were looking for a bit more sure-handed defender at second base, so he got the call over Brian Steed. Mike Fox said he looked Gore in the eye right before the game Friday night, said, "Are you okay?" And the young man was composed and confident, and he has played that way throughout.
Well, when you've got the pitching that Mike Fox has, you definitely want your infielders to be able to catch the baseball and make the plays at first base.
Johnson back on a close play. Romer has picked the man off and committed a balk. In 13 innings now in this College World Series, he's given up 11 runs, 10 of them earned on 19 hits. That is a .992 ERA. And he came here with a 1.97 ERA for the season. Throw down to first by Curtis. 2-2 now on Garrett Gore.
And you can see Romer where his elbow is on a lot of these pitches. It's down, really trying to make the ball do something instead of hitting his spots and pitching like he did yesterday in the ball game. High three-quarters and driving the ball towards home plate.
Daniel Bard trying to stay loose with his team up at the plate for a while. These Titans have a lot of rituals and superstitions, and Romer eats a turkey sub in his car before the home games. Eats a turkey sub before every start. Chips and fruit punch. The runner goes, and Turner couldn't handle the throw at second base. Batter strikes out. Gore fans for the second out of the inning, but Benji Johnson has a stolen base, his fourth of the year.
Well, you watch Gore on this play. He's actually behind the runner, and the ball actually hits the runner instead of Gore being able to catch the baseball. Look where he's at. He's on the backside. The ball hits the runner. He's got to be in front of the bag to be able to catch the ball and make that tag.
Hit him right in the head.
That's why you're supposed to be in front of the bag.
76 pitches, and that will be it for Wes Romer. He gamely took the ball today after pitching yesterday. His team in a must-win situation, but he wasn't sharp for the second time in as many starts against North Carolina. John Estes, the new pitcher, when we come back. Another sunny and warm day. The temperature near 90 degrees here in Omaha. North Carolina leading Cal State Fullerton 6-3 with 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning, and Garrett Gore perhaps with a bit of a headache, the runner at second base. And the new pitcher is John Estes, the big left-hander from Sammamish, Washington. 6'4", 250 pounds in 23 games this year. He's pitched a third of an inning here, having allowed 1 hit. Faced 2 batters.
Likes to use the fastball changeup to the right-handed batters, but he's got a pretty good breaking ball that he uses against lefties, and that's the main reason he's out there right now with Cavassini, Frank, and the switch hitting Horton coming to the play.
Estes pitched against Georgia Tech on Sunday, and he throws a strike to Mike Cavassini. Wes Romer, 4 2/3 innings, the shortest start of his career, encompassing 30 starts. So far, 6 runs, 5 earned on 10 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts, and a balk. He gave up 3 homers. He threw 76 pitches. Estes gets Cavassini, and that ends the inning. But the Tar Heels get 2 more on back-to-back home runs to open the inning on consecutive pitches. Jay Cox, his second of the ball game, followed by Tim Fedorovich. 6-3 Carolina.
Welcome back to Omaha, the College World Series, bottom of the 5th. Carolina with a 6-3 lead over Fullerton. And now we're here with the coach, Mike Fox. But you told us this morning Jay Cox had to get it going. What has he done differently at the plate?
Well, he's looking at the ball really good. I think he feels good today, and I think Romer's made a couple of mistakes with him, and like I said, when you can see him hitting the ball to left center, you know, he can hit some home runs that way, and fortunately he's doing it for us today.
Coach, you were just complaining 6 runs might not be enough. Why are you saying that?
Well, I know Fullerton's not going to go quietly here, so we got to scratch and claw. We, you know, should have gotten another one that last inning right there, but we got to keep fighting here because they're not going to go away easily.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Interesting move here by Mike Fox. Still a long way to go. We're just in the bottom of the 5th inning, but he has already made a couple of defensive changes, moving Garrett Gore from second base over to third, taking Reed Frank out of the ball game, who does struggle from time to time defensively, and Kyle Shelton, who can play a number of different positions, excellent role player, utility player, comes in at second base. You know, with the lead, it's not unusual to see a coach go for more defense, Jeff, but in the 5th inning, you're taking out, we just said he thinks they're going to need more runs. They've just taken out Frank, who is an important part of their offense.
Well, I think from Mike Fox's perspective, and as many times as you see Cal State Fullerton put the ball in play and try to play small ball, you want the guys with the best hands in that infield that you can possibly get, especially with a first rounder standing on the mound.
There's Danny Dorn to open the Titan 5th. He is struck out and walked against Daniel Bard. There's a strike, and just to amplify the point, Reed Frank, the player that Mike Fox just took out of the ballgame, he was scheduled to lead off next inning. And he's an excellent on-base percentage guy. Their leading walker, leads the team in hit by pitch. He's had some big hits here. You could wait one more inning. You could still play for defense in the 6th inning.
Well, I think after the last inning, watching the confidence of Daniel Bard on the mound, I think Mike Fox is going for the juggler right here.
Dorn down the line past Gore. Hey, maybe Frank would have had that ball.
Come on.
It's a base hit for Dorn, and the lead man on.
Fastball away. Dorn goes right with it, right down the third base line.
Well, Frank's in the dugout saying, I would have had that one. Gore frustrated he didn't get it. Frank, a spectator for the rest of this one. 9 hits for Cal State Fullerton. Already 19 hits in the game between these two teams here in the 5th. And Cooper sends it a long way, foul down the left field line. Cooper had a hit in his last at bat Sunday against Georgia Tech. Went 5 for 5 yesterday against Clemson. Singled and scored his first time up today. 7 consecutive hits. One shy of the College World Series record, then dropped down to sacrifice bunt last time. Very highly recruited player out of Stockton, California. Twice he hit better than 500 in a season while in high school. A high school All-American.
I got you. You got it. Timeout.
Long known for his beautiful swing, but it wasn't always smooth sailing to start his career. He showed up in the fall. They thought he might be able to pitch for them as well. He had an impingement in his shoulder. Not only did that negate any thought of pitching, as he pops it up in center field for Cavassini. 1 out. But it also prevented him from taking part in a lot of their fall conditioning work. And in the fall, they have a rigorous training program. And a lot of the players, the veteran players, didn't like it. They thought he was slacking off a little bit, and he had a hard time blending in. It was only when they got in the season he started getting hits in game after game after game that he kind of won the team over.
Anytime you have a freshman come into a new program, you want him to make sure that he's taking the program seriously and doing all the things that everybody else is doing. And he's finally made an out after all of those hits.
Brandon Tripp, the batter. He's sacrificed with a bunt. Then he had a sacrifice fly to drive in a run in the 3rd.
Well, it looks like Daniel Bard's breaking ball is getting a little bit better as time goes on. Last inning he used it a lot to start out the hitters with, and then finished them with that 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
There were some reports, and there was a very nice article about Daniel Bard in Sports Illustrated about he and Andrew Miller during this past season. It mentioned there were rumors that he was thinking about transferring after last year, and Daniel Bard said it was a very nice article, but I was never really thinking about transferring. Throw to first, skips away from Flack. He did say that last summer he had heard a rumor while he was on Cape Cod that Andrew Miller was transferring to Texas. He picked up the phone and called Miller, who was also pitching on Cape Cod, and Miller said, absolutely not, I'm not going anywhere. They both came back. It was a team that was divided last year. A lot of seniors who weren't playing, they resented the freshmen who were playing. It was a team with some clicks, but that's a thing of the past. They've had great chemistry all year long, and it's a reason for their success. A ball that rides high. 2-1 now on Tripp. If they could get him on, they'd get the tying run to the plate. Bard was charged with an error on that throw to first. The first North Carolina error of the ball game. Cavassini again. 2 outs, and Dorn still at second.
And you can see Bard every time he slows his mechanics down, body mechanics right over the mound itself. His pitches are much more quality when they reach home plate. Every time he tries to jump or tries to do something extra to get the ball to home plate, that's when you see the ball fly up high or you see the breaking ball hang. And the reason for that is when you jump towards home plate, that right arm is going to drag a little bit. You never get it up into the power position, and you don't make a quality pitch towards home.
Strike one to Clark Hardman, who was singled and grounded to short.
That's just a bullet right there. Easy 97. And don't think your TV's wrong. That's just straight gas.
Chop foul. Well, I know there were some questions perhaps about his sign ability. Some may question his mental toughness, although the coaches say that's a bunch of baloney. And you can wonder why a pitcher like this has a 3.9 career ERA with his ability. But in this day and age in Major League Baseball, where there's the lack of really impressive arms, at least depth of quality arms, you see a guy who can throw like this.
I'd take him.
I think I'd take my chances. A guy throwing 98 with some other stuff as well.
I think I'll take him for about 3 weeks. We'll have a whole different guy.
He did struggle last time up against Alabama, but he said he felt great warming up and that the mound was about 3 or 4 inches higher than he was accustomed to, and it was steeper. And you talk about the arm angle, and you know, as a pitcher, if you think the mound's a little high, that can affect your arm angle.
But it should not affect you. You should be prepared for anything that happens, whether the mound is low, whether the mound is high, whether your breaking ball's working that day or whether it's not. Pitching is about making adjustments, adding and subtracting to your fastball. That's all it is.
You can certainly wonder how he could be at 3.9 for his career with his stuff. He's out of the inning unscathed on the fly ball to left off the bat of Hardman. Fullerton has left 7 men on base. When we come back, we'll visit with Colin Cowherd of ESPN Radio, having some fun playing video games in our booth. And welcome back to the College World Series at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. An elimination game for Cal State Fullerton. North Carolina with a win will advance to the championship series this weekend as the victors of bracket 1. Fullerton has to win 2 days in a row if they're going to play for the championship against the bracket 2 winner over the weekend. Well, of course, whenever the College World Series is in Omaha, it's big news locally, but only sharing the headlines in the Omaha World Herald on Monday. This article right here, it says ESPN's Cowherd set for Omaha broadcast. Front page news.
I'm kind of big.
Colin Cowherd of the Herd. You can hear him 10 to 1 Eastern Time weekdays on ESPN Radio. You've been doing your show from here, and I know this is a new experience for you. You've been to a lot of major sporting events around the country. What are your thoughts here?
I think it's incredible. I love that this was the one sporting event that all my friends in the media said, go, you'll love it. And I was talking to Eric Karros today about it, and he said it's the secret of sports. It's wonderful. The people are so nice here. I feel like I get nicer as I'm here. I wasn't very agreeable 2 days ago. I couldn't be more pleasant right now.
Well, you can't be too nice and be a talk show host, right?
That's kind of one of the rules.
The ball outside from John Estes as Kyle Shelton bats for the first time. Leading off the 6th inning, he came in for defense in the last half inning. Estes beginning his first full inning of relief. He got the final out of the 5th in relief of Wes Romer. It'll be Shelton, Josh Horton, and Chad Flack, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters.
Colin, what do you think about the baseball that you've seen thus far here in the College World Series?
It reminds me of 1965 baseball. People run out every ground ball. They bunt. They sacrifice. If you like baseball, if you are into strategy.
Real baseball.
It's real baseball. I mean, this is what it was when you had 1, maybe 2 home run hitters in the lineup. You move station to station. You move guys around. And some good arms. Guys can really throw.
Well, that's a big change in college baseball over the last 4 or 5 years with the regulations on the aluminum bats, between the ounces of the bat and the distance or the length of the bat.
Down the third base line and foul. What else has struck you about this experience?
Warren Buffett, 3rd richest man in the world, lives here. 2-story house downtown Omaha.
Yeah, you'd miss it if you drove by.
You would miss it if you drove by. And that speaks of Midwestern values. It's not showy. 2-story house. It's mine, except the guy inside's worth $400 billion.
The Oracle of Omaha, as some have dubbed him. He, once a year, I believe it is, does a speech in the Quest Center, their beautiful arena downtown here. They put about 16,000 people in there. They fill it up to come hear him talk about investing. His track record's pretty good. Bounced up the middle and a base hit for Shelton. Put in for defense, the offensive bonus, and they have the lead man on. And they have 11 hits. They had hit in double figures in hits in 11 straight games before they were held to 7 by Stephen Ferris of Clemson Sunday in the Heels' 2-0 victory. They had only 1 hit after the 3rd inning in that ball game against Ferris. He was excellent, but Robert Woodard, who pitched a 3-hit shutout, was just a little bit better. He had Robin Ventura on and Eric Karros, among others. How were they?
They were good. Ventura has great hair for a 40-year-old guy. He looks like it's unbelievable. I was going to remark, but I didn't want to be offensive in any way. But I wanted to just say, you've got some of the best 40-year-old hair I've ever seen.
I gave him some of my secrets.
I'm challenged up there. So I'm in awe, really. And I'm not saying this
Who
because
isn't challenged up there after 40?
Robin Ventura.
Or after 22 in some cases. That's not his real hair, Robin Ventura.
Yes, it is.
No, that's a system. He's a client. So is he.
Oh, goodness.
Kenny Rogers here today. Estes throws a strike to Josh Horton, who singled a drive and a run in the 3rd. We're visiting with Colin Cowherd of the Herd on ESPN Radio. It's been the Final Four, Super Bowls, BCS games, but here in Omaha for the first time. Front page news in the Omaha World Herald. Lined into center field and a hit. Hardman races over to cut it off. Shelton stopped at second, so they have first and second. And nobody out here in the 6th inning. And activity now in the Fullerton bullpen is right-hander Adam Jorgensen, who's pitched in every game of this College World Series for the Titans, is warming up again.
Colin, earlier you were talking about the people of Omaha, and I think that in itself and the way that they are so cordial to the visitors here is one of the reasons that this College World Series stays here as long as it has, and it will continue to be in this city. Isn't it nice to find some people that actually care more about the visitors themselves than they do about their own self?
Well, it means a lot to them, and it shows. It is so obvious. They care. They're happy you're here. I mean, they're totally committed to this. And I've never met a person who didn't come to the College World Series and go away with glowing praise of Omaha. I've never met one.
Most people are struck by the fact it's a more cosmopolitan city than you would think. There's a image, I think, around the country. This is kind of a sleepy town on the plains here, but it is anything but that. Just don't rip the Huskers on your show. You'll see the ire of some of these people.
I made that mistake a few months ago. I regret it.
Now, this is a big event in town. Chad Flack takes a strike. But I was struck the other night when I turned on the local news, and the first segment of the local sports report on TV was that the football Huskers have signed a home-and-home deal to play the UCLA Bruins in football in 2012 and 2013.
Wow.
Number one story. Not the College World Series, the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals. The Huskers are going to play the Bruins. Hopefully that's enough time to plan ahead.
Well, you're a college football guy as well. You do an amazing job. And it's funny, when Husker fans ask you, how do you think we'll be next year? They're not really looking for an objective answer.
No.
They want 12 wins, and thanks for coming to town.
And of course, anything much less than that is unacceptable for their fans.
They'll be pretty good this year.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's got a really workable schedule. I think Texas is always good, but a freshman quarterback. But I think Bill Callahan's got them going in the right direction. I think they've righted the ship.
Estes trying to get out of difficulty, trying to keep his team in the game. He knocks down the comebacker, bobbled it for a moment, didn't recover in time to get two. If he could have fielded it cleanly originally, that was a double play ball. But instead, it's just as if Flack had dropped down a sacrifice bunt. Both runners move up, 2 men in scoring position, and 1 out as Estes threw out Flack at first.
You can see the top spin on this ball from Flack. He hits the top half of the ball, and when it hits the glove of Estes, it just spins out onto the ground. He has no choice but to make the play at first.
Here's Jay Cox. He's been the star of the game. First 2 games here in Omaha, just 1 for 10 against the Titans and the Clemson Tigers. But today, 2 for 3 with a 3-run homer that gave them the lead in the 3rd inning. That went to left center field off the starter Wes Romer, and he did it again, leading off the 5th inning against Romer. Coach Fox said this morning we need more from Jay Cox.
And he got it.
He got it. 2 homers and 4 runs batted in. The College World Series record for home runs in a game is 3, shared by 3 players. Most recently, Jeff Larish, with his memorable performance here. The Nebraska folks remember that one. He hit 3 in their 8-7 Arizona State's 8-7 11-inning victory over the Cornhuskers here last year. J.D. Drew hit 3 for Florida State in 1995. Edmund Muth of Stanford hit 3 against Louisiana Lafayette in 2000. A pop-up caught by Turner. That's a big second out of the inning. And go back to what Mike Fox said to Holly Rowe. Last inning, we need to capitalize on chances and keep scoring. They're in danger of another squander. Holly?
Well, guys, just an update on Jay Cox. He's been a bit under the weather here in Omaha the last couple of days. He just had a treatment by the trainers of North Carolina. He was having some shortness of breath, some tightness in his chest. No, he wasn't hyperventilating from the back-to-back home runs, but they said he's fine. It's just some allergy and asthma issues that he's fine and can continue.
He had surgery for a deviated septum. He's had a lot of allergy problems in the past, and that has flared up again on him here in Omaha. So here comes everyday Adam Jorgensen, appearing for the 4th time in 4 College World Series games for Cal State Fullerton. Tar Heels lead. They're still at bat here in the 6th. Back at Rosenblatt Stadium, Sean McDonough, Jeff Brantley, and Holly Rowe, joined by Colin Cowherd of ESPN Radio. And I shouldn't say just ESPN Radio, because we see you from time to time on ESPN television as well.
A little spanning the globe on SportsCenter Sunday, and you know, occasional drop-bys. You know, so it's I'm a radio guy who is pesters enough people to slip on TV occasionally.
You're not on TV as often as Adam Jorgensen. He's pitched in all 4 games now here at the College World Series, the sophomore. And he's been very impressive. I know when we spoke with the coaches this morning, Jeff, you in particular singled out Adam Jorgensen.
Well, the thing that I like about Jorgensen is the fact that when he comes out of the bullpen, he throws a lot of strikes, and that's what you've got to have out of your middle relief to keep the game close. And I think that's what George Horton is trying to do here. They were trailing yesterday in the 5th inning 6-3, and I think this is what George Horton is trying to do right now. Just keep this game close so that if his offense can put some kind of run together, they can get back in this ball game.
John Estes out after 1 inning of relief. He gave up 2 hits. He's responsible for the 2 men in scoring position. Big spot for Jorgensen, trying to keep the Titans within 3 runs. And a pop-up along the right field line off the bat of Tim Fedorovich in foul ground. It's Pill making the catch to end the inning. So good quick work done by Adam Jorgensen. Well, Colin, continued success.
Big fan of your work.
Reynolds, thank you, I appreciate it. Harold Reynolds, Todd Blackledge, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Regular day for him.
You're slumming being with us with that kind of company.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Colin. They've had some chances to widen the lead here.
How'd that happen?
What happened?
Why don't you just ask him to lean up?
Sign the card. Heading to the bottom of the 6th here in Omaha. Cal State Fullerton coming to the plate trailing 6-3 as we look at our Coke Zero game track. Jay Cox, the offensive hero. 2 home runs, a 3-run homer to put Carolina on top for the first time of the ball game after they fell behind 2-0. That came in the 3rd inning. He hit another in the 5th, the first of back-to-back home runs with Tim Fedorovich. Daniel Bard, an acceptable outing.
Well, as long as he continues to throw strikes, especially with the velocity that he's got on his fastball tonight, he's gotten better and better as the games got along. And like we said, as long as he could get through that first couple of innings, he was going to be fine. And so far, that's proved to be true.
Well, they have a talented bullpen, and they are rested and ready. So any sign of faltering at this point in the ball game, you'd have to think that Mike Fox and Scott Forbes will get the bullpen going. Evan MacArthur, the batter. 1 strike the count. He singled a drive in a run. And in the 2nd, tried to bunt his way on, and Bard caught it in the 4th.
Yeah, he tried to drag bunt a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and it was almost a double over the head of Bard when he caught it.
Strike 2, 1-2. MacArthur didn't like the call and goes for a stroll. Well, we've talked about how Bard dropped through the first round of the draft, taken with the 28th pick of the first round by the Boston Red Sox. Jeff Zona, their area scout in that part of the country, visited with Andrew Miller and Daniel Bard back during the season. And he joked as they were filling out some forms for him, as a standard for scouts who come through, that it was kind of a waste of time because there was no way either one of those two young men was going to be there when the Red Sox picked. So they were delighted when this power arm was still there with the 28th pick. 97 up and in, and strike 3 for MacArthur. Bard has been to Fenway Park. He was a Cape Cod League All-Star last summer, and they take the Cape Cod League All-Stars up to Fenway for a game. They get to go out on the field before the game. Drafted by the Yankees in the 20th round out of high school, but elected not to sign. Said it wasn't because they were the Yankees and he's a lifelong Red Sox fan. It was just that it was not the right thing to do at the time. He wanted to go to college at North Carolina.
I agree with that. I think this kid right here is going to benefit as much as anybody by putting on the college uniform in the 3 years that he's had at college. Not only from a body standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, probably more so than anything else, and learning about himself and learning about what it's like to be out on your own.
Backdoor breaking ball missed to John Curtis. 2-1 the count. Curtis singled to knock in a run in the second. Bounced back to the mound in the fourth. And strikeout of MacArthur, just the second strikeout for Bard. He's not been blowing them away. That's heading toward the gap in left center. Cavassini cannot run it down. It rolls to the wall near the 375 marker. And Curtis has a 1-out double. And that is going to get bullpen action started now for Coach Fox and Coach Forbes as Matt Danford runs down to the bullpen.
Well, I think ultimately Coach Fox would like to get to at least the 7th inning before he goes to Jonathan Hovis and then brings in Andrew Kerrigan, who would be their closer.
Danford pitched well, got out of that memorable 11th inning jam Friday night against Cal State Fullerton. Top of the order now, Justin Turner. This is the part of the lineup George Horton wants to see up there in this situation. Turner's 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. Has 8 hits now, 8 for 20 in this College World Series. Has 6 hits against the Tar Heels in the 2 games. Bard grew up in Charlotte. He was a Carolina fan, but not a diehard. He did consider Clemson, Wake Forest, and Notre Dame before deciding to go to North Carolina. Enjoyed his campus visit, liked the players, and thought it was a program on the rise with a chance to get to the College World Series during his time there. Swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch. Turner out in front of it, 1-2.
Well, this is really the first time that we've started to see Daniel Bard being able to harness that breaking ball on consecutive pitches. That's 2 in a row that he's gotten over the plate for strikes to Justin Turner. See if they come with that high fastball right here for the strikeout.
Right off the end of the bat, you have to field it cleanly with Turner running, and Bard made the play. Threw a little bit of a changeup to Flack, but got away with it. On to third goes Curtis with 2 down here in the 6th inning. North Carolina leading Cal State Fullerton 6-3. Daniel Bard, as we mentioned, had the brilliant freshman year. Then his performance dropped off, perhaps a bit complacent as a sophomore. He thought he pitched in some bad luck as well. The freshman year was outstanding. 23 career wins, tied for 7th in Carolina history with Robert Woodard. They've had some good pitchers over the years. I think the one name that will be most recognizable to fans around the country, Scott Bankhead, who had a nice career in the big leagues. A former Carolina Tar Heel pitcher.
Actually pitched against Scott Bankhead in 1984. And they came to Starkville for, back then was the regional before you came to the World Series.
Let's stop, big
The big problem for Fullerton in this World Series has been runners left on base. They're 2 for 10 today with men left in with runners in scoring position. They're 0 for their last 6 with runners in scoring position. Dave is trying to bunt his way on again. Bard will have to field it cleanly, and he did. Nice play with a bare hand, and he threw a strike that time to get Blake Davis. That ends the inning. After 6, North Carolina leads Cal State Fullerton 6-3. There are a lot of ways Carolina can beat you. They hit for power. They run the bases. They pitch well. The defense from time to time a little suspect. Today the big weapon has been the long ball. 3 home runs, and they lead Fullerton 6-3 as we head to the late innings. Carolina leading in bracket 1. This is double elimination within the brackets. Clemson and Georgia Tech have already lost twice and gone home. Fullerton needs to win to force a decisive game in bracket 1 tomorrow with North Carolina. In bracket 2, it's Rice in command. They can eliminate Oregon State tonight at 9 Eastern time. To get all the College World Series box scores, brackets, and press quotes, sometimes pronounced press quotes, log on to ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Oh, Pues. What old Pues from Alma Fudd.
Oh, goodness.
Plenty of press for Adam Jorgensen. He came in last inning and got Tim Fedorovich to get Carolina to leave 2 more men in scoring position. Carolina has had chances to make this a much more comfortable lead. They've left 9 men on base, including 3 men in scoring position in the last 2 innings.
But as we said in the beginning of this ball game, Sean, you let Daniel Bard get comfortable out there. Let him get through the first couple of innings. You can kiss the baby.
Seth Williams leads off, the number 7 hitter. 1-1 the count. Bard hoping for some additional run support. Williams has tried to help him today. He's 3 for 3. And he's out on the bounding ball to Blake Davis at shortstop. 1 down, 7th inning. The Carolina closer, Andrew Carrigan, has made his way down to the bullpen. He's getting some sprinting work in down near the mound. He's rested and ready if needed today. They generally only use him in save situations. We saw that the other night. He did not come into the ball game against the Titans when the game was tied, as it was for quite a while. Benji Johnson, the hitter, 1 for 3 with a single and a stolen base. Jorgensen pitching with a count of 2-0 has made a nice recovery from the doghouse of Coach George Horton and pitching coach Ted Silva. He had a good freshman year. Gets a pop up behind the plate, and Curtis will catch it. Then he came back the sophomore year with an all new delivery he came up with. He felt he needed to throw harder. He added a lot of twisting and turning and wasn't anywhere near as good as a sophomore. He fell into the doghouse. His dad wanted to meet with the coaching staff. George Horton said, "No, I don't do that. I'll meet with you. You can come in and air out all your grievances you and your dad have, but I'm not doing the parent thing." But Jorgensen got his pitching back on track and fell in step with what they want him to do within the program, and he's been an important member of the team this year.
Well, Jorgensen's got plenty of stuff to get anybody out at any level. He's throwing the ball 88, 90 miles an hour, and he's got a breaking ball that he can throw for strikes at any time. That's 2 weapons that any pitcher would like to have.
Good pitch there. Well, their bullpen's been terrific. Unfortunately for the Titans, their starting pitching has been below their usual high standards in every game so far here. 4 games, they've had 4 subpar starts, 2 from Romer, 1 from Miller, 1 from Gagne. 1-2 on Garrett Gore, who's 0 for 3 today. Driven to right and well struck. Brandon Tripp was in shallow, retreats to make the catch. It's a 1-2-3 inning, the first for either side today. Tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, USA, as Dave O'Brien said, needs to beat Ghana, then needs some help, specifically a win by Italy over the Czech Republic. There are some other scenarios as well. Very important game if the USA is going to advance. Critical game, and a critical game here for Cal State Fullerton. If they lose, they go home. North Carolina loses, these 2 teams will play again tomorrow, with the winner of that one going on to the championship series. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday against the winner of bracket 2, which Rice could wrap up with a win tonight over Oregon State. Meat of the order for the Titans. In the 7th inning against Daniel Bard, it's Brett Pill looking at a ball low. He is grounded to short, doubled to center, and scored in the 3rd inning. And popped to second. Then Danny Dorn and David Cooper. Two and 0. And there is action to start the inning behind Daniel Bard in the Carolina bullpen. It's the right-hander Matt Danford again. Actually, it's Jonathan Hovis now.
And I think this is the way that Coach Mike Fox would like this ball game to have gone. Get as far as you can with Daniel Bard before you have to bring in Hovis into the ball game. And you can see the catcher right now heading out to the mound, Benji Johnson, to talk with Daniel Bard, but also giving Hovis plenty of time to get himself loose.
.96 pitches thrown by Bard. And now the pitching coach, Scott Forbes, is going to go to the mound. Hovis just started throwing, so this is obviously a move designed to get him a little more time to warm up. First they had the catcher go out there, and now Scott Forbes walking very slowly.
Well, I think that man right there, George Horton, is going to try to do everything that he can to disrupt the pitcher's timing to try to get some runs on the board for his club. And 3-0 to the leadoff guy is exactly what he'd like to see.
Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, George Horton is known for his sports psychology that he uses with his baseball team, and right now is no exception, down 3 runs. He just told all of his guys as they were walking around in the dugout, hey, are we side by side? Side by side is one of their themes this year. Picture of redwood trees, and the statement side by side hangs in the dugout to remind them that they can withstand anything if they're side by side, and he's just reminding them that they need to do that now more than ever.
They've been here before. 1 strike away from elimination on Sunday against Georgia Tech. Rallied to win yesterday, down 6-3 in the 7th inning against Clemson. Again, an elimination game. They rallied to win. Do they have one more comeback in them here at the College World Series? 3-2 to Pill. Fisted foul off to the right.
2 good fastballs from Daniel Bard there after going 3-0. Quality hitter Brett Pill in this lineup.
No reason to push him too much longer into the ball game, deeper into the ball game, should he struggle. And there's a drive to center. Cavassini on the run. It's over his head, off the wall on a hop. Pill in his second with a double. His second double of the ball game. 7th hit in 4 games here at the College World Series. Jonathan Hovis, one of the best setup men in the country. As a matter of fact, in terms of ERA, he is the best pitcher, starter or relief pitcher in the country. He leads the nation in earned run average. And they have the closer Kerrigan ready behind him. The 11th hit given up by the junior Bard. That is a career high for hits allowed. Danny Dorn, the hitter, he has one of them, a single his last time up, and fouls one straight back. He's walked and struck out as well this afternoon and into this evening.
And the thing about that North Carolina bullpen with all these left-handers, Dorn, Cooper, Tripp, Hardman, and Curtis, you don't have a lefty specialist down in that North Carolina bullpen. You got to get them out from the right side.
Fouled straight back again. Dorn just missing that one, a bit frustrated as he takes a stroll around the batter's box.
Even though Daniel Bard may make your heart beat a little bit quicker in that dugout, still throwing the ball 95, 96 miles an hour.
If they need the bullpen, it has been outstanding. They didn't need the bullpen in the second game against Clemson when Woodard pitched the complete game shutout. But the bullpen was perfect behind Andrew Miller Friday night against this Cal State Fullerton team. Base hit and left, they'll hold the runner with nobody out. No choice for third base coach Rick Vanderhook. Down by 3, can't afford to take the chance with nobody out on a well hit ball right at the left fielder. So Dorn has his second hit, and they'll get the tying run to the plate here in the 7th inning.
That was an 0-2 pitch, 97 miles an hour, right down the heart of the plate. Mid-thigh. Not exactly where Daniel Bard wanted to throw that ball, and that may be all for Bard.
Yep, Mike Fox going to the mound. He will make the pitching change. Exact same situation that Fullerton faced yesterday. They were down 6-3 in the 7th inning against Clemson. Got 3 to tie. Then got the bloop RBI hit from David Cooper to win it in the 8th inning. Jonathan Hovis, the new pitcher. As we mentioned, he is leading the nation in earned run average at 1.23 over 66 innings. The only senior on the team, the team leader, into the most important spot in his career. A job well done by Bard. He departs to a nice ovation. Cal State Fullerton facing its 3rd straight elimination game in the losers bracket after the opening night loss to North Carolina, and they have rallied. That was the score of another game in this tournament that did not affect them. But here's a look at some of their rallies. Down 5-4 against Georgia Tech on Sunday. Elimination game for both teams. They got the squib hit in the 9th that put them ahead to stay. And yesterday's game-winning hit when they rallied from 6-3 down wasn't exactly a rocket either. Corey Vanderhook, the hero Sunday. David Cooper with that bloop hit yesterday. Do they have it in them again? Exact same scored situation they were in yesterday against Clemson. But today facing Jonathan Hovis, the senior from Gastonia, North Carolina. As we mentioned, their only senior. And he leads the country in earned run average at 1.23. And his first pitch is a strike. The slider is his bread and butter. Throws the fastball, usually sinking, and a slider. He developed a changeup last summer on the Cape. Here's yesterday's hero, Cooper.
The greatest quality that Hovis possesses, no panic.
Well, Fullerton should be alert to that play now. They know the Tar Heels tried to pick the runner off third in this situation. They did it in the 11th inning Friday night with Matt Danford on the mound. He picked off Corey Vanderhook, a huge play. Hovis pitched 2 2/3 innings in that ball game, was not scored upon. High chopper. Horton with his only play at first for the first out of the inning. A run scores. Brett Pillin from third. And an RBI for Cooper, but he was hoping to do more than that.
You can see this sinker from Jonathan Hovis. Cooper hits it right on the top of the ball. Ball looked like it hit right on top of home plate.
5th RBI of the College World Series for Cooper, first today. That run charge to Bard. Throw to second now as they try to pick off Danny Dorn. Brandon Tripp waiting for the first pitch. Six runs, 12 hits, an error for North Carolina. 4 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors for Cal State Fullerton. Tying run at the plate. Tripp does have home run power.
You're going to see that pitch a lot from Jonathan Hovis to these left-handers. Backdoor breaking ball to get ahead in the count, sink the ball away from him.
Tripp faced Hovis twice Friday night. He struck out in the 8th inning and was intentionally walked in the 10th inning against this pitcher. Sunday before their second game, North Carolina's second game, the ball game at Clemson, we asked Mike Fox and Scott Forbes, would Hovis be available? He pitched 2 2/3 innings Friday night. Now it's Sunday. He said when we got back to the hotel Friday night at about midnight, he jumped on the treadmill and went for a run. So he was feeling pretty good after the outing. You do that right after our telecast. We get back to the hotel and you get your miles in on the treadmill.
Jump on the cheeseburger treadmill. I ran enough in my days playing.
Base hit to right. They will hold the runner Dorn at third base. So Tripp with a hit. That puts the tying run on base and brings the go-ahead run to the plate, and still only 1 out here in the 7th inning for Cal State Fullerton.
Rare mistake by Jonathan Hovis. Gets this breaking ball right over the heart of the plate and doesn't have the snap break to it as the other ones did. Brandon Tripp just rips it into right field. The one thing that Hovis has working in his favor right now, a ground ball in the middle infield. They've got a chance for a double play and get out of this inning with minimal damage.
Well, Clark Hardman was due up, and he is a left-handed hitter against the righty Hovis, but George Horton decides to send the switch hitter Corey Vanderhook up there. He has had the knack in this College World Series for being at the center of the action when the ball game is on the line. We mentioned the negative. He was the GOAT Friday night in their loss to the Tar Heels when he was picked off third base in a 5-5 game in the 11th inning. He made up for it with that 105-foot hit, as George Horton described it, to win the ball game with 2 outs, down by a run against Georgia Tech Sunday. He's the nephew of the third base coach Rick Vanderhook, a transfer from the University of South Carolina. And here's another look at that hit, the magical bounce behind the mound. And it took a right-hand turn and brought in 2 to turn a 5-4 deficit into a 6-5 lead. They added another. That one just missed from Hovis. They were down 5-4 in the 9th inning, top of the 9th. They were the visiting team in that game with 2 outs and the bases empty, and rallied to win. Loaded the bases before Vanderhook got up there. Backdoor breaking ball for a strike, 2-1.
That shows you something about Jonathan Hovis right there. All 3 pitches, sinker, breaking ball, and changeup. Anytime, anywhere, he can throw them for a strike.
You mentioned he's the only senior, and Coach Fox says he's a real team leader. A lot of times when the coaching staff wants to solicit the thoughts of one of the players about something happening within the program, they'll seek out Hovis. The runner goes from first, and Vanderhook chops one foul. Tripp will have to go back to first base.
You could see Josh Horton covering second on the steal there. Vanderhook gets that ball anywhere on the left side of the infield in the shortstop area. He's got a base hit into the outfield, and most likely Tripp's going to be going all the way from first to third.
2-2 pitch, fouled out of play to the left again. Hovis, an excellent student, exercise and sports science major. He's already graduated, may come back for grad school next year for physical therapy. So many of these players talk about the importance of pitching in summer ball on Cape Cod. He pitched last summer for Brewster, and that's really where he developed the much better changeup than he had in the past, which helped turn him into one of the best setup men in the country. He was their closer at the beginning of the year, but he and Kerrigan flip-flopped roles early in the season after Kerrigan had a couple of dominant performances closing when Hovis wasn't available. Trying to hit that outside corner again with the backdoor breaking ball. It's a full count. You were George Horton, would you send the runner from first with one out?
I'm not exactly sure if Vanderhook is good enough a contact hitter to make that happen, because Hovis gets the ball to home plate in a hurry. He's running.
Yeah, he is a good contact hitter. He struck out 8 times all year in 69 at bats.
That answers the question. That's why he was running. And I think in this situation, this is what George Horton preaches. Put the ball in play, make contact, shorten your swing, get your hands to the ball, and get the ball on the ground.
Say this for the Titans, they get their airtime as well. Their first game here was 4 hours and 53 minutes. Second longest game in the history of the College World Series. A 5-hour ball game in 1981 between Oklahoma State and Arizona State, the only game longer. Then they came back yesterday with a 4-hour and 5-minute ball game against Clemson, the third longest 9-inning game ever at the College World Series. And this one is coming up on 3 hours here in the bottom of the 7th. The runner goes from first again. That's pretty well struck in left by Vanderhook. Cox back on the warning track to make the catch. Dorn scores to make it a 1-run game. Tripp scampered back to first. On another day when that wind is howling out to left, as it often is here in Rosenblatt Stadium, the Titans are ahead, but instead it's just a long sacrifice fly.
Breaking ball up in the strike zone. I think when Vanderhook makes contact, he thinks this ball is out of here, and I did too. I thought he hit it well enough to get it out. Cox in left field does a great job to run this ball down, especially with that wind swirling out there. 1 minute is blowing out of left, and 1 minute is blowing straight in.
And a ball hit in the air and left by Evan MacArthur. Again, not enough breeze to help it. As a matter of fact, at the moment the flag's blowing in, and Cox made the catch. But the Titans, as is their custom, chip away. They get 2. They're down by a run as we head to the 8th.
Don't forget a single face. You could see that boy again. 'Cause there's a dream in every glove, there's a wish on every ball. And once again, they'll make their name back home in Omaha.
And back in Omaha, we get a look at our Coke Zero game track through 7 innings. North Carolina leading 6-5 in a back-and-forth game. They trailed 2-0. Rallied back to take the lead, and now they're protecting that lead, which was once 3 runs. It is now just 1. Jay Cox with 2 home runs today. Wes Romer starting 1 day after closing yesterday, ineffective as the starter for Cal State Fullerton. And the top of the order coming up, led by Mike Cavassini. Jared Clark into the ball game to play right field after they hit for Clark Hardman and Brandon Tripp.
But you've got to give some accolades to Wes Romer for even taking the ball today, especially after closing the ball game yesterday and then coming back out and pitching today. That is not an easy task.
Adam Jorgensen trying to keep Fullerton within 1 run. Cavassini looked at a strike. He's grounded to second, reached on an error by the pitcher Romer. That was a big play. It was the first at bat of the 3rd inning, which turned out to be a 4-run inning for North Carolina. Cavassini struck out but reached on a pass ball in the 4th and grounded out in the 5th, facing Jorgensen for the first time today. 0-2 the count. Kyle Shelton to follow, and then Josh Horton.
Oh, watch the step.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I can assure you, Sean, if the ball is anywhere on the first base side of the plate, I don't care if it's going 1,000. This kid is not moving. Cavassini will take it right off the nugget if he has to.
In on the hands, chopped to second. Justin Turner to Brett Pill for the out.
Get right here, let's go.
1 out, 8th inning. North Carolina leading 6-5. If they win, they're in the championship series, the best of 3 to determine the national champion over the weekend. Fullerton needs to win today and beat the Tar Heels again tomorrow if they're going to play for the title over the weekend. Sean McDonough, Jeff Brantley, Holly Rowe. 4 teams already knocked out. The championship matchup could be all set after today. If Carolina wins and Rice beats Oregon State tonight in bracket 2 action, the Owls and the Heels will play for the national title Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Shelton up for the 2nd time. He came in for defense in the 5th inning, batted in the 6th against the lefty John Estes, and singled to center. One and 2. Andrew Kerrigan, their closer, is warming up. And I asked you, would you go to Hovis for 1 more inning and then go to your closer in the 9th, or would you go to Kerrigan for a 2-inning save?
I think I would stay with Hovis 1 more time through.
Slashing, swing and a miss. Boy, Jorgensen just about flawless here at the College World Series. He's pitched 2 perfect innings, 6 up and 6 down against him.
Nice breaking ball here, Adam Jorgensen. Ball starts in off the plate. You can see Shelton really open those hips, thinking it's a fastball, and the ball starts to break away. Runs out of bat.
He's now pitched 5 scoreless innings over his 4 appearances here in Omaha. He's given up only 2 hits and a walk in 5 innings. He throws strike 1 to Josh Horton.
You better watch this guy right here. You never know when Horton is going to come up with a big hit for this North Carolina ball club.
Horton had his welcome to college baseball moment in the fall of his freshman year. The team's practice and scrimmage in the fall. And Coach Fox said to him, Josh, you need to find out if you can hit left-handed pitching. So we're going to run you up there a lot against this other freshman we have by the name of Andrew Miller. He said I went 1 for 30. I got one little scratch hit, and then he picked me off first. So I had to do a little more proving to Coach Fox that I could hit lefties. So at the time I was despondent. Then I realized that freshman kid is the best lefty in the country. 6-5 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. I don't know why our producer Jonathan Lebovich and our director Mike Schwab do this to us every day right around dinner time. We're up here at 7 o'clock. We've been here for most of the day. We're hungry, and they do that to us.
I could eat up that whole grill of chicken right now.
With the College World Series, baseball's good. The food is every bit as good.
A little barbecue sauce. I might could take a bite of that ball.
Well, they're hoping that the Titans are the ultimate comeback kings for one more day. They've done it the last 2 games, both games elimination games for them, as today's is. And they've come from 6-3 down to make it 6-5. Everybody in the park is eating except us. And she's calling to order a pizza.
That's right.
A little ice cream. Jonathan Hovis still out there. He'll try to get them through the 8th. But they do have the closer Kerrigan warming up. John Curtis, the number 9 hitter, leads off for Cal State Fullerton. He singled to drive in a run in the 2nd and doubled in the 6th. Both at bats against the starter Daniel Bard. Bard went 6 innings plus 2 batters in the 7th. He gave up 5 runs all earned on 12 hits. Walked 1, struck out 2 through 103 pitches. Hovis came in last inning, gave up 1 hit and got 3 outs. He's ahead now of Curtis, 1 and 2. Then the top of the order, the catalysts of the offense, Turner and Davis.
Well, that's where Hovis wants that breaking ball when he comes inside. He wants it right on the hands of the left-handed hitters. So they have to pull the ball foul. Then he can go back away either with the changeup or that backdoor breaking ball that he's been throwing so much.
Way outside. Not tantalizing enough for Curtis to chase it. Curtis, a criminal justice major. He has some interest in perhaps being an FBI agent one day. Lined down the left field line and over the head of Jay Cox. Curtis on his way to second. It's a leadoff double. They have the tying run in scoring position with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3rd hit of the day for John Curtis.
Talk about coming up big when you need to. This pitch running away up in the strike zone, and Curtis goes right with it. Look at that head down on the baseball as he drives it the other way. Look at this swing. Down and through the baseball, a short and quick swing. Doesn't try to do too much with it, otherwise he rolls it over to second base, and it's an easy 4-3 play. But instead he's got him a double, and the closer is awaiting.
And you can see that ball fooled Jay Cox, who's an average left fielder at best. Sometimes they take him out for defense. And he started going toward the line, then realized the ball was going over his head. Made a turn to retreat, but it was too late. That breeze blowing in from left, that was well struck to the opposite field by John Curtis. Now Turner. Likely to try to bunt the runner over, as is the Cal State Fullerton way, and would be the way of a lot of other teams in this circumstance as well. Curtis is the catcher running at second. They can't really run for him because they used Vanderhook, the backup catcher, as a pinch hitter.
And I think in this situation for Cal State Fullerton, if they can push a run across here and tie this ball game, the momentum really starts to swing towards Cal State Fullerton.
Both teams will look back on squandered opportunities in this game. Titans have left 9 men on base. They've had runners on in every inning of this game. And the Tar Heels have also stranded 9. All of those over the first 6 innings. They haven't had a base runner in the 7th and 8th. The men left on base, a recurring problem for Cal State Fullerton. They've left 34 men on base in the first 3 games and 9 more today. And now Turner behind in the count 1-2. 2 for 4 today. 8 for 21 in the College World Series. In this NCAA tournament, through 129 games, 67% of the time when you have a runner at second and nobody out, you score. Low and away, 2-2. Blake Davis on deck.
You'd really think that percentage would be a lot higher.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
No outs, runner at second base. It's only 67%.
2 out of 3. Of course, in the tournament, you're seeing some great pitching and usually very good defense. The 2-2 pitch. Hit on the right side. Just another example of Turner doing all the right things to help the team succeed. He gets the runner over after he couldn't get the bunt down. Curtis now the tying run 90 feet away.
And wouldn't you know it, Blake Davis standing at home plate. You hear Cal State Fullerton talk about this kid and the kid behind him, Brett Pill, always being in the right situation at the right time. It looks like Mike Fox may be making that move to Andrew Kerrigan.
Yeah, in this situation, you're looking for the strikeout. And Kerrigan more of the strikeout pitcher. He's struck out 41 and 31 in 2/3 innings this year. And he'll make the move right here. Andrew Kerrigan, their closer, trying to save it in a tough spot. They'll have to get 4 outs to do it to send them on to the championship series. Yeah, we got a good game. Let's not overcoach. Blake Davis getting ready to come up. Another big spot. It seems like he's involved every time it's crunch time at the end of the ball game for Cal State Fullerton. He'll come up with a tying run at third and 1 out. I believe I said Andrew Kerrigan on the way to the break would need 4 outs for this. He needs 5. Only 1 out here in the 8th inning. Sophomore from Norwich, Connecticut. 5'11", 185 pounds. Setup man at the start of the year, but has become the closer, and there aren't many surprises. He's coming right at you with the fastball. About 75 to 80% of his pitches are fastballs, which he generally gets up there in the low 90s. Former high school catcher. Davis faced him Friday night and struck out.
Ball inside.
Kerrigan saved the victory over Cal State Fullerton last Friday and went 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, but also struck out 2.
Ball 2.
Inside again to Davis. Infield in for Carolina. Tourney track tells us a runner in third and 1 out. You score about 70% of the time. Tough to play the infield in with aluminum bats. A contact hitter like Davis up there. 3-0 the count. Davis was the first man to reach with 2 outs in the 9th inning, down 5-4 against Georgia Tech. He started that rally with a clutch hit. And he was involved in their comeback yesterday against Clemson as well. He scored the winning run, in fact.
Look at that play.
And wow. Goes to the plate for the out. They had the contact play on. Curtis, the runner at third, off with contact. Just a little nubber in front of the plate. Kerrigan on it quickly through to Benji Johnson, the catcher, who was shaken up on the play.
Squeeze bunt right there, and you can see the runner on the move. That's a great play from Andrew Kerrigan. Get to the baseball, get it to plate, and what a block right there.
They tried to squeeze in the run, a frequent weapon of the Titans, but the bunt wasn't good enough. He just nubbed it out in front of the plate, and Kerrigan was alert to it.
My goodness.
That bunt is anywhere down the lines. It's a tie ball game because Davis did get it down, but it was too much in the direction of Kerrigan.
The thing about it is Kerrigan falls off towards the first base line, and as the bunt was put down, it went right to him. All he did was raise his glove up, reach into the glove, and make just a toss throw to home plate. Perfect spot for North Carolina. He falls off to the side, just flips the ball there. You couldn't ask for a better play or a better break for North Carolina in this situation.
Benji Johnson could have asked for a better throw from Kerrigan. It was pretty high. He had to catch it and get that tag down quickly. And he took the hit from the runner Curtis. So now Brett Pill has had a number of clutch hits here in Omaha. 2 for 4 today, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. He's had 2 hits in each of their last 3 games after 1 for 7 in the opening extra inning game against North Carolina. The ball just low, 2-0. Still the tying run on base, but now it's at first base with 2 outs. And Pill the go-ahead run at the plate. Not tremendous home run power. 5 homers, and the breeze is blowing in right now. Three and 0. Danny Dorn, who is a power threat on deck, borderline strike, outside corner of the knees.
And that's what makes Andrew Kerrigan so tough, is his ball does not run back towards the hitter, which is traditional for a right-handed pitcher. It actually cuts away. When he lets the ball go, the ball's going to break to the outside corner, even on his fastball.
Davis can steal a base, has 15. He's been thrown out 7 times.
Right?
Kerrigan gave up a single to Pill in the 13th inning on Friday night. Chopped down the line, foul, gloved by Gore, who was playing right on top of the line, trying to prevent an extra base hit.
Good 3-1 pitch from Kerrigan right there. Off-speed breaking ball at 3-1 after the fastball right on the outside corner.
Most of the Tar Heels from North Carolina or the Southeast. He's from Norwich, Connecticut. The Tar Heels saw him in a showcase before his senior year in high school in Wilmington, North Carolina. Pill a swing and a miss. And Andrew Kerrigan comes into a very tough spot and gets the Tar Heels out of the inning unscathed and still in possession of the lead. They're 3 outs away from advancing to the championship series. We go to the 9th. North Carolina 6, Fullerton 5. It's still that score thanks to this play. You know, Carolina would like a run or two for some breathing room. Protecting the narrowest of leads as we go to the 9th inning, up 6-5. And Adam Jorgensen still perfect in this outing. He's pitched 2 in the 3rd innings. Retired all 7 batters. They've only had 1 ball out of the infield against him. Middle 3rd of the order. Chad Flagg batting. Tony Mainers wants the music shut off on the PA system. Flack 0 for 4. Now 0 for his last 7 is 0 for his last 8 actually is 0 for 4 yesterday. Ended his 14-game hitting streak, longest of his career. Jay Cox on deck. He's homered twice already today. And then Tim Fedorovich. Breaking ball outside corner at the knees. 1-1 on Flack.
That pitch right there is what makes Jorgensen so tough to hit. If he can throw that breaking ball for a strike, very difficult to decipher what he's going to throw at any time.
That is the pitch the last couple of ball games that has given Flack a lot of trouble.
Well, he likes to drive the ball the other way, but when he sees that breaking ball start inside, he opens the hips and he ends up with nothing left to hit with except for his arms.
Tried to pull that pitch away. It's off the glove of MacArthur and out in a shallow left center field. Flack didn't round the bag. He just ran through first base. Probably wouldn't have tried to get to second anyway. So the lead man is on in the 9th for Carolina, leading 6-5. Our Pontiac high performance moment. Jay Cox, 2 home runs today. A 3-run homer followed by a solo shot. Solo shot was in the 5th inning, the first of back-to-back homers off Wes Romer on consecutive pitches. Cox and then Tim Fedorovich. Cox might be facing a new pitcher. He will. Ryan Paul, their closer, the angular left-hander coming in from the bullpen. And they finally get a base runner against Jorgensen, and it took a hit off somebody's glove to make that happen. (6-5) North Carolina. Batting in the 9th with nobody out, the lead man on a scratch hit by Chad Flack. And Cal State Fullerton wanting to keep this a 1-run deficit to give them a better chance in the bottom of the 9th when they have the middle third of their order coming up. So Ryan Paul will try to hold off the Tar Heels. He's been their closer over the last month and a half since Vinny Pistano, who was a great closer for most of the year, went down with an elbow injury in mid-May. Paul had been the best setup man they've ever had, according to George Horton, who stays out on the field and watches his pitchers warm up from right behind the mound. Paul moved to the closer role, struggled his first time out against San Diego State when he said he choked, but has settled in ever since. He came into yesterday's ball game to get 1 out in the 9th inning when he wasn't even here when the ball game began. He has been bothered by a stomach virus. He stayed at the hotel with his parents. His parents were so convinced there was no way he was going to get into the ball game or leave the hotel. They left and came out here to the park to watch the game. Ken Revisa, the sports psychologist, told Ryan Paul, it's okay if you don't go to the game. You don't feel well enough to pitch. Don't worry about it. Stay here. Get healthy. Well, that didn't sit well with George Horton, who was the ultimate admirer of his sports psychologist. Horton had the trainer calling from time to time to monitor Ryan Paul, and that message was, if you feel well enough to come to the stadium, come. So even though his parents were gone, he had no ride to the stadium. He hopped in a cab, got here in the middle innings, pitched even though he felt like he might get physically sick on the mound, and retired the only batter he faced.
And he was nasty on that one batter.
Throws to first. It's just about slider, slider, slider from Ryan Paul. Flack the runner at first, nobody out. Jay Cox, he of the 2 home runs today at the plate. Now the wind whistling in from left field. Cox gets the bunt down. It's a fair ball. Curtis, a terrible throw. Out on a bang play. Justin Turner got the bag, says Randy Harvey emphatically to the first base coach Jason Howell, and to Jay Cox, who had to be restrained by Jason Howell from jumping after Randy Harvey.
That was a close play right there. It looks like the ball rolls up the arm of Curtis, and he bounces the throw there.
Well, it's Cox's fault, even if it is a bad call, and a nice play by Turner, because that hit the lip and skidded, and he is out. But he stood there and watched the bunt for a moment near the batter's box to see if it would be fair. If he ran from the very beginning, he would have been safe.
Well, I think because of where the ball was, had he taken off right away, he may have run into the ball.
Well, that's true, but even when he was a few steps down the line, he still had his head turned looking back toward home plate.
Can't do that.
Flack is in scoring position. They did what they wanted to do, got the sacrifice down. Tim Fedorovich. 0-2 the count. He has singled and homered. He hit the second of the back-to-back homers on consecutive pitches off Wes Romer in the 5th inning. You cannot minimize the impact of the loss of Pistano. Just changed everybody's role in this pitching staff. MacArthur looked back the runner Flack and threw out Fedorovich. 2 down. The runner still at second. Been frustrating for Carolina. They haven't scored since the 5th. They've had some chances to pad their run total prior to that 5th inning and since. North Carolina 3 for 13 in the ball game with the runners in scoring position, including 0 for the last 7.
I think you're correct that Pistano would have helped this Cal State Fullerton ball club. But as George Horton says, it's not something that you can feel sorry for yourself about. You just have to come on and play.
We will intentionally walk Seth Williams and pitch to Benji Johnson. Both are right-handed hitters. Williams is 3 for 4 today. You don't really gain much here. They started the day with the exact same batting average, 282, Johnson and Williams. And Johnson is much more of a power threat. He has 14 homers. Seth Williams has only 3.
I think George Horton is looking at the fact that Seth Williams has 3 hits today. Maybe seeing the ball just a little better than Benji Johnson.
Here's ball 4. 2 men are on with 2 outs. And the batter Benji Johnson, who was 1 for 4 today. He singled to center field in the 3rd inning. That was the big inning for Carolina. They scored 4 runs, 3 of them on a home run by Cox. Outfield shallow with the wind blowing in. They want to be positioned to throw out. Flack at the plate on a base hit by Johnson. Just missed.
You're going to see mostly breaking balls from this left-hander, Ryan Paul. He feels like he can throw that pitch for strikes more than he can his own fastball.
Starting pitchers have struggled, but the bullpen, including Paul, has been terrific. Of course, we're only going to say nice things about Ryan Paul. He's a likable young man, but mostly because he's a black belt in Taekwondo. His dad got him started in that as a young boy, thought it would teach him discipline, and it has. But he's still very much the laid-back Southern Californian. He skateboards to class around the Cal State Fullerton campus.
I haven't quite picked that part up yet.
No, I would have done that at Syracuse, but the snow drifts might have caused a problem on the way to class.
I thought breaking my arm might have caused a problem. How do you explain that to your coach? Well, I fell and broke my arm on my skateboard.
There's so much talk about Ben Roethlisberger in the motorcycle helmet. You wonder if Ryan Paul wears a helmet as he skateboards around campus. Well, he's been terrific. He did his job. Carolina strands 2 more. They've left 11, and they'll have to contend with the big boppers, the middle third of the Fullerton order, starting with Danny Dorn in the bottom of the 9th. We started this College World Series with 4 of the 8 teams hailing from the Atlantic Coast Conference. We're down to 1 ACC team left to win the national championship. That's North Carolina. Despite some outstanding baseball programs, the conference has won only 1 national championship way back in 1955. Wake Forest Demon Deacons under Coach Taylor Sanford. You saw Tommy Cole, their right fielder, pictured in the opening shot. They went 29-7. And captured the ACC title on their way to the NCAA championship. It's a powerful conference in soccer. A lot of the ACC schools outstanding in men's and women's soccer. We know about basketball, including North Carolina. The lacrosse championship won this year by Virginia, the 10th. Up and down the line, lots of championships. And baseball, it's surprising. I was really surprised when we got here and realized they had only one, and it was back in 1955.
Well, I think that North Carolina would love to have the surprise visit of Roy Williams again if they do happen to win this ball game and get to the championship series. I know that Mike Fox, is a big fan of Roy Williams.
Roy Williams, the basketball coach at North Carolina, was here for the first 2 games. He went back to Chapel Hill, but after Carolina was knocked out of the ACC tournament in 2 straight games, surprisingly so, Mike Fox asked Roy Williams to speak to the baseball team. And his message was, you can win a national championship without winning the ACC tournament. We did it. 5th appearance at the College World Series. The only year they won a game was in 1978 prior to this year, when they went 2-2 with Mike Fox as their all-College World Series second baseman. They'll play for the national championship over the weekend in a 2-out-of-3 series against the winner of bracket 2 if Andrew Kerrigan can get the final 3 outs. Danny Dorn fouled the first pitch away.
The all-important leadoff hitter, especially with a 1-run lead.
And Dorn, with a knack throughout his career for the clutch hits, he's 2 for 3 with 2 singles and a walk today. 8 for 16 here in the College World Series. And if Kerrigan falters, they have Andrew Miller, the ace of their starting staff, who started game 1 for them here, the second game of this College World Series for all of the teams, Friday night against Cal State Fullerton. They knocked him around a bit. If Fullerton were to win this game, Miller is scheduled to start tomorrow for the Tar Heels in the game that would determine which of these 2 teams would go on to the championship series. They'd both be in the same situation tomorrow. Win and go on, lose or go home. Andrew Kerrigan for the 1-2 to Dorn. It's outside. It's already been a big week for the Kerrigan household. He had the save last Friday. On the same night, his sister Kaylee graduated from high school in Connecticut. His parents were not here to see the ball game Friday. They came out Saturday. They were at his sister's high school graduation. Golf to center, sinking fast. Cavassini makes the running catch. He was playing very deep. They don't want to allow an extra base hit. That's where speed comes into play. That ball was dropping fast and being knocked down by the wind, and he came a long way to make the catch.
Well, he came a long way, but he also got a great jump out there. Mike Fox told us, I want to do whatever we have to do to win this game today.
You know, he'd rather not use Andrew Miller, because if they win, they'll be off till Saturday. They just had Monday and Tuesday off in advance of this game. They would have Thursday and Friday off to prepare for the championship series. They could come right back with their 3 frontline starters, Miller, Woodard, and Bard, against the winner of bracket 2. Still 2 outs to get, 1-1 the count on David Cooper. Gore and Flack on the lines at the corners. Cooper to deep left. Cox back on the warning track. He leaps and makes the catch up against the wall.
Wow, what a play.
That catch with help from the wind blowing in. That keeps Carolina in the lead in the 9th inning. On a typical day when the wind whips out to left field, this ball's up into the seats, but the wind helped knock it down to set up the heroic catch by Cox.
Look at those eyes on the ball right there. Never took his eyes off the baseball. Wall or no wall, I'm catching this ball.
Cooper, who's been magnificent throughout the College World Series, can't believe it. Cox, who's occasionally replaced for defense in the late innings. And defense, supposedly the Achilles heel of the Tar Heels. They've made some tremendous plays when they have needed the most. And now Kerrigan trying to gather himself on the mound with a visit from some teammates.
Right.
As the Tar Heel fans get ready to celebrate.
I think right now in that Carolina dugout, the conversation is, do we bring in Andrew Miller here or do we stay with Andrew Kerrigan? And I think they're making their decision. They're going with Andrew Miller.
Well, it looks like Scott Forbes, the pitching coach, is actually going to go down to the bullpen and talk to him. And Mike Fox will give them some time for that conversation as he goes to the mound to chat with Kerrigan. Sounded like you could hear Scott Forbes say, "Do you want a shot?" And he said yes. Andrew Miller did. But this is also your closer, who's been terrific all year long. But then again, the best pitcher on your staff is the man warming up in the bullpen. And if he finishes the deal, he'll have till Saturday to rest.
Well, I think
ready for the championship series.
I think that ball to left field right there really put the scare in that North Carolina dugout. That ball was within a foot of being over the fence and this game being tied.
So Andrew Miller, who has not appeared in relief all season long, will try to do what Wes Romer did yesterday. Romer started Friday's game head-to-head against Miller. He hadn't pitched in relief all year long. He came in yesterday and saved the ball game against Clemson. And now it's Miller in his first relief appearance, trying to get the final out to send them to the championship series. You wonder if that's blood on his uniform. Home plate umpire Tony Mainers summoned second base umpire Joe Burleson to talk about it. They might have to give him another jersey. By rule, you cannot participate if it's blood on your uniform. Apparently they're satisfied it's okay. And he will warm up with his usual number 33. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Andrew Miller knew as long ago as about the 6th inning that he might have an opportunity to come in here in this ball game. He was hanging out in the dugout. He actually spilled something he was eating on his uniform, and that's what the conversation was on the mound. It's not blood. They're going to let him pitch. But he also changed his shoes. He started getting on his pitching cleats, started messing around in the 6th. So he's known for a while this might be a possibility to get himself mentally ready.
Well, they won't care if he's a slob if he can finish the job here. A little bit of a sloppy eater. First round draft choice of the Detroit Tigers, the 6th player taken in the entire draft earlier this month. ACC Pitcher of the Year. He's had a tremendous season. National Player of the Year in Baseball America. 13-2. But had a very rough outing on Friday night against these Cal State Fullerton Titans. He came into the outing having given up only 1 home run all year in 110 innings plus. He gave up 2 home runs in that ball game. He'll face a pinch hitter, Brian Harris, batting for Tripp. They'll get a right-handed hitter up there against Miller. Miller gave up 5 runs on 6 hits in 7 1/3 innings against the Titans on Friday. Harris has been a platoon player, starting against lefties most of the year. batting .299 for the season. If you're thinking about a game-tying home run, not likely. He hasn't hit one all year, and Miller's given up only 3, although 2 of those were Friday night.
Well, I would say that Andrew Miller is quite loose. That first pitch came in at 97 miles an hour.
That one 97 as well. Chopped on the left side. Horton on the run, throws him out, and North Carolina advances to the championship series. They will play a best-of-3 series over the weekend against either Rice or Oregon State, with a chance to win North Carolina's first ever baseball national championship. And the dream of a 5th national baseball title is over for Cal State Fullerton for this year. And the end of some tremendous careers as well for Justin Turner and Danny Dorn. Tar Heels win it 6-5 in a game that featured 27 hits. Andrew Miller, in his first relief appearance since 2004, his freshman season, got the slow chopper to Horton, who had a reputation for being a little bit shaky on routine plays. That was the kind of play that would make you shaky with so much at stake, and he made it flawlessly. First career save for Andrew Miller to make a winner out of Daniel Bard, and Wes Romer takes the loss.
This is actually a nice appearance for Andrew Miller, because he's going to have a couple of days off before he takes the hill again. You don't want to have too long between starts.
An impressive win for North Carolina. Mike Fox told us this morning that Cal State Fullerton might be the best team they've played all year, and now they have defeated them twice. Here's Holly with the coach.
Coach Fox, tell us a little bit your strategy there, bringing in Andrew right at the end.
Well, the wind's blowing out to right here, and if we wanted to turn some of those guys around, we wanted them to hit right-handed there and hit into the wind. And Andrew was that was basically his bullpen. You know, he was ready, and we had thought early on we might bring him in to face Dorn and all those lefties in the ninth, but one hitter was enough.
Coach, you had this feeling as a player. You said it's what got you into coaching. What does this feel like now to be through the championship series?
Well, I mean, words can't describe it. I mean, I'm just so happy for our kids and how well we play, and we hung on. Fullerton, they have a great team.
How did it help your pitching rotation to be in the winner's bracket?
Well, I mean, it sets it up just like you want to. You know, you don't have to fight out of there and use a lot of your bullpen. We were rested today, so we're all set up now for Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
All right, congratulations on to the championship series.
Thank you.
They are in great shape. They'll have Miller, Woodard, and Bard in some order all ready to go against either Rice or Oregon State. So Cal State Fullerton is eliminated. They fought valiantly throughout their 4 games. North Carolina, the undefeated champion of bracket 1 in this double elimination play in the brackets. They'll face either Rice or Oregon State in the championship series over the weekend. Rice with a chance to clinch the trip to the championship series if it beats Oregon State tonight. Sports Center, College World Series special coming up next with Carl Ravitch back in the studio and Linda Cohn here at the stadium. The College World Series will continue on ESPN2 at 9:30 Eastern Time with Rice and Oregon State. Now for Jeff and Holly, Sean McDonough saying so long from Omaha. Here's Carl Ravitch.